As far as like chat stuff goes, I'm gonna kind of let I'll type in chat if like there's something like that's an issue, but we'll have all the introductions and we'll do all that stuff. Yeah, so this is like the first like unofficial official podcast, yeah?
Yeah.
We've been trying to get this sorted out for I don't even know. How long?
2 days? 2 nights? 3
It
nights?
feels like it's been a lot longer. It feels like it's been a lot of like weird tech stuff because I'm an idiot sometimes. And sometimes there was just something that was like really simple that I didn't know how to do. You know, like with the with the video ninja or whatever, and it's like, oh no, just put it in your OBS. And I was like, oh really? Because like every single YouTube video I watched, it was like how to make your talk show awesome, and it was like you have to use XSplit and your mom and this thing and 5 other things, and it was like, bro, what the fuck, man.
And then they left out the price tag, huh?
Yeah, and then it was like, oh yeah, it's like it's you can use the free version, but like the free version sucks, and like you can't really do anything with it. So it got debated massively when it was actually quite simple. So I hope everything is chill for you guys, like visually and all that good stuff. But then we're just gonna kind of chill on this screen. But isn't it gonna be anything like insanely like formal or complex or anything? But yeah, we will talk about some jams here as far as like introducing yourselves and stuff. So I know most of the people like in the community know you guys. I mean, Ichi always raids us, and then Simon, we've been kind of talking here back and forth for a second, especially like around, I mean, at least around the CounterSide partner stuff. But if you guys wanted to introduce yourself as far as and I have the questions there for you guys in like in the chat, but we could just start off with your content creator history, so we don't have to like have like a bucket list. So just as far as like and I could go first as well if you'd like, but just the content creator history, like what you guys have been doing, like what kind of like got you started as a content creator, kind of introduce yourself on like what platform you use, and yeah. But I can.
Right, I'm ready.
Yeah, Simon.
You can go first though.
Yeah, all right. Put me on blast.
Yeah.
So yeah, my name's sirfawn. Most people just call me Fawn, but my my username was actually from a PlayStation auto-generated username from like 2010. I don't even know, maybe 2015 or something. It was disliked Fawn, and everyone, most people called me Fawn, but I got sick of people calling me disliked, and it has nothing to do with the implication of being disliked. It was just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like, it's the noun, right? So like disliked is the adjective and Fawn is the noun. So it's like, why are you calling me this? Like, just call me Fawn. So I changed it to Sir Fawn because most people feel uncomfortable calling me Sir. So I figured it was like, it was a cleaner name and nobody calls me Sir, so it's cool. But that's,
and I guess the previous name wasn't that funny.
Oh my God. This is turning.
Please carry on.
Yeah. I'm gonna have some dead air just for that. So as far as content creation, I actually first went live. Back in, oh God, does anybody know when Evil Within 2 came out? No, sorry, Evil Within 1.
Oh wait, that was like 4-5 years ago, was it?
Was it? I feel like it was slightly. Yeah, must have been 4 or 5 years ago. That was when I first. Yeah. I first went live on my PlayStation, and I streamed Evil Within, and I was like, Twitch is really cool. And then I just kind of like, I was like, man, I want to do stuff like with this, but I don't have a PC and stuff like that. So I just kind of moved on with my life. And years later, I streamed some Genshin, and like I think, I don't know, something like Doom Eternal or something. And then I started streaming Genshin, Epic 7. And that's basically kind of like what mostly led me to here today. As far as like being a degenerate gacha streamer. As you know me in the form I am. It's not even my final form. And then I started doing YouTube, maybe like dedicated doing YouTube, maybe like 2 months ago. So that's pretty much it as far as like my content creator journey, my gurney. But yeah, Simon, where have you been at, man? What's your life been like?
Right.
Spill the beans, man.
Okay, if you'd like to know, Um, well, I started my content creation journey last year in July, so it's a year now. Yeah, I just realized it's also July now. So then, before I started content creation for real, I had no experience in video editing. I had no experience in streaming, nothing the like, right?
Right.
And what I was doing previously, I was basically running a business with a few of my partners, a few of my friends, and well, because the MCO hit, COVID came, and it didn't really work out.
Oh
Then
yeah.
I've spent like almost a decade doing that, and because of that, I didn't get to play a lot of games, which is like my favorite pastime, right?
Hmm.
And I was then thinking to myself, why not? I just take a short break. I'll give myself maybe half a year and just give content creation a shot.
Sure.
At the very beginning, it was just, it's really just by a stroke of coincidence that the game that I was playing back then was mostly CounterSide and on the C servers, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, yeah, let's start from there,
Sure.
right? And at first, it was just really random videos here and there. We were talking about Kyle back then because the game was released not too long ago. He was really prevalent in PvP in the C servers.
Yeah.
It's really annoying if you don't know how to deal with the two bulwarks he summoned, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I talked about that, and then I guess a month into that, as things started to kick off, Danger Close came,
Oh yeah.
and that was the one that really got me going,
Yep.
right? And then I started learning, better editing skills, techniques to, improve my videos. And then I start getting more streaming gear, more stuff that I can do with the content creation then.
What do you use
And
for? Sorry. What do
what I
you?
use for?
Yeah. What do you use for video editing? Out of curiosity.
I use DaVinci Resolve 17.
Ooh, me too. We're twinsies.
Yeah, it's free and it's so powerful. That tool, if you start learning video editing with that, you're never going back to any other programs, right? You're not going back to
Right.
Adobe because everything is just squeezed into that little app right there.
Yeah.
The Fusion tab is literally After Effects, and the rest of it's all in there. You can treat your audio, you can do color correction, you can do everything there. So it's really, really powerful. And once you start learning the basics from that app,
Hmm.
yeah, it's like jumping from Android back to Apple. It's not a
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not a
It's
very
not the
pleasant
same.
experience.
It's
Yeah.
not the same.
So that yeah, and then from there, I guess I started streaming when I was about to hit 1K subs on YouTube.
Nice. Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
sick.
that was also when I did my first face reveal.
Ooh, face
Yeah.
reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it- I was just covering CounterSide for most of the time, and this is where I am today.
Cool, man.
By the
Yeah.
Fawn, can you just help me crop the top of the video a little bit down
Yeah. I
because
give
the left corner of the mic.
crop top.
Yep.
There you go. Do you want to crop this sign right here? Boop. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
Nice.
So, you know what that means, Ichi. You've been real quiet, man. You're always so talkative,
yeah.
Ichi. Why
what are you even talking
you're
about?
the
I'm
la-
usually not that talkative.
You're the loudest person here, probably. I would
I'm-
say between
really?
you, me, and
The loudest
Simon.
and-
Yeah, you, me, and Simon. You're probably the loudest, dude. Like, and yeah,
You're right. I'm super loud.
yeah,
Just like I can't ever stop talking.
yeah.
It's mainly by
Oh,
myself,
yes.
right?
It's a problem. Like, you're always cutting people off and like just like yelling and stuff. It's like crazy, dude.
Yeah, no, I know. I can't help it. It's just part of who I am, you know.
Yeah, man.
Then I
Well,
guess it's your turn now then.
yeah. So you're
Yeah.
go for it, man. Go for it.
So, I started my content creator journey about 5 years ago, really.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
vintage.
Yeah, vintage. Yeah. Only streaming on Twitch. That's all my content creation. And I started with I think it was PUBG.
Oh
then.
yeah, classic. Yeah.
Way
I
back
thought you were gonna say
then,
Minecraft.
And I did a little bit of Minecraft.
Oh!
Not then, but like later on. But I did
Yeah.
a lot of games. I've streamed a huge variety of games. And I came to CounterSide last year when the C server came out.
Yeah.
And how I found it was actually I was watching YDCB.
Oh yeah.
Oh, ID.
Classic.
Yeah,
Dude.
and
Classic.
he showed off the game like the very first day, like when the game launched. He was
Mhm.
streaming it, and I saw Lumi, and I was like,
Yep. Yeah, he did the Lumi
All
debut.
Right. He got the.
"That's
Yeah.
that's my character. I'm playing this game right here, right now.
Yep.
She's
Yeah.
my favorite character in the game." I need more skins for her. I swear to God, I'll buy 30 of them instantly.
Yeah. Just make a new account to buy another skin for her.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool, man.
But CounterSide has been like one of my favorite games to play like ever in general.
Hell yeah.
And like I normally quit games after about 3 months, but CounterSide has kept me so long.
Same. Or you just keep playing it because you're like, well, this is kind of the drip feed I need. Like nothing else.
Oh, for sure.
Nothing else really hits like this, but like, you know, this is kind of all I got. But yeah, I agree, man. CounterSide's really good. I like it a lot. So I don't know if you would finish your thought, but it kind of leads me into something else if you were.
Wait. What was I even saying again though?
Content creation history.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, CounterSide has been a big part of my content creation the past year. I'd say it's about like half of what I've done this past year. Maybe a little more than a year now. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a year because like I got partnered from CounterSide on Twitch, so
Yeah,
I've only been a partner for a year.
COVID did a lot
yeah.
of weird stuff for. I know Simon like got some stuff mixed up too, and I was like, "Oh shit, really?" Because yeah, like for me, like COVID like just blew so much stuff like up. Like it's not like it just messed my time schedule up. Like I was like, "Wait, that was 6 months ago." I'm like, "Wait, no, it wasn't. That was like a month ago or whatever, or that was like a week ago." And it was like, "No, that was a year ago." And it's like, what? It's crazy, man. Yeah. We have someone in chat wondering, Ichi, do you still play PUBG?
I do not still play PUBG.
Oh, damn.
The only battle royale I play now is Apex.
All right.
I did stream Apex for like during the time I wasn't playing CounterSide because I stopped playing CounterSide for about 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah.
We'll have to get a PUBG room going, guys. All right. Simon, Ichi, and Fawn. We'll all get a PUBG stream going.
No.
Yeah, you guys heard it here.
I'm probably gonna be the naked guy with a frying pan, huh?
Yeah.
We can all be naked guys with frying pans.
Well, that we don't have to play PUBG to do that, guys. All right. So let's go to my next. Question. Unless you still had more to talk about, I keep cutting. I'm the one cutting you off, man. What are you doing? What are you doing,
I
man?
honestly don't have anything else to talk about. By the way, congrats for the 1 year, Simon.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
I'm
been
done.
it's been a really interesting journey. I never thought it would kick off because wait, we didn't really introduce ourselves. I didn't reveal where I'm from, right?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay, so I live on the other end of the world where Fawn is living, right? I guess a little bit more than the other end of the world, but
Yeah.
I'm from Malaysia. So literally smack dab in the middle of Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Right, that above that little island that everybody knows is Singapore, but not many people know that the island above that is Malaysia, right?
Yeah, my geography skills are terrible, man.
So where I'm from, games in general, not specific to mobile or gacha games, right? They're not really that well received.
Sure.
So people still think that games are a complete waste of time. You
Sure.
should just focus on your education. You should, might as well spend time building a career. It's literally just one generation after the parents who thinks that, either your son can be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer.
Yeah, no appreciation for waifus, right?
Yeah, there's no appreciation for waifus.
Have
not
they-
even 2D.
Have they seen Serapel? You should just show them Serapel, and like it might change their minds, man.
It really just might.
Yeah.
So then, I really, whenever I started off my content creation, it was just, a really big gamble.
Sure.
It's like trying to do 10 pull for Awakened Yuna and, betting on the chances that you do get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Ichi, did you know that we got Awakened Yuna yesterday?
I know. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say anything.
I don't want to talk about Awakened Unit pulls.
But yeah,
I literally
so then-
screwed myself with
Yeah.
my Awakened pulls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
so it's
break the
really-
news, Simon, if you want.
I heard you said it's 40 pulls, was it?
Yeah, 40 pulls.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
How many pulls was
And-
it for you, Ichi? Just curious.
135.
Oh God.
It's okay. Things like this, they always go full circle, right? If it's 135 this round, probably next one's gonna be 20.
Yeah, Simon and I are both gonna pity Asu
No,
like it's
that's not how it goes for
No,
me.
please don't.
Listen, on the C server, I either 10 or 20 pulled every awakened unit,
Yeah.
Wow.
and then now on global, it's hitting me.
Karma, huh?
The pities, yeah.
I've
Okay,
actually,
chat, please don't reveal my pulls on C. Okay, chat, don't do it.
yeah, yeah. Don't show your pull history. I've gotten really lucky so far. So I'm every time it's like a cycle of anxiety where like I keep getting lucky. Except for Serapel, I had to pity, but for the most part, I've gotten like all the awakened. I mean, Amina, and Ane Yuna, and like 60 pulls. I've pretty much gotten every banner unit that I've gotten like 50 or 60 pulls. So every time like it keeps happening, I'm like, oh no, it's gonna get worse. Like it's at one of these points, it's just gonna be so bad, or I'm gonna like straight up like pity like back to back to back or something, right? But so kind of going back for a second, Ichi, you were talking about Lumi skins. So I think maybe some people already know, but I think a lot of viewers and people in chat might be curious as to what skin you guys are gonna get with your content creator pack or whatever.
So maybe I can do a quick recap, right? So for chat, if you didn't know, the official partner content creators basically at the end of the, I think it's gonna come at the end of July for us, right?
Yeah, they said at
Yeah.
end of July. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of July, we actually do get a little bit of, I guess, a reward of some kind from the game itself, and it allows us to select the skin, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're now asking each other, see what will be the first skin that we will be interested to get, and yeah, Ichi, Lumi.
I don't know.
We don't have Lumi skin.
Yeah, the racing
They
skin
don't,
will.
yeah.
I can't pick up a Lumi skin. It's very disappointing.
Maybe next month
But,
it'll be the racing skin will be out. Yeah.
True, maybe next month. This month though, I'm gonna pick up the Ingrid skin because that's honestly currently in our version of the game the best skin in the game.
It's the biggest upgrade. It's the biggest upgrade for
yeah.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah. How about you, Simon?
Me, I am definitely getting Chifuyu first.
Chifuyu, the chemo,
Nanahara
the New
Chifuyu,
Year's one.
the striker. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The New
That's a
Year's
nice
skin,
skin.
right? Is that
Definitely
the
gonna
only
get
one she has right now?
I think for now it is.
Yeah.
Right, chat. You guys. Oh no, chat. We're not playing games right now, so I'm not gonna pull for. Okay, so for those of you who, okay, guys. So what happens this, right? In the C servers, I actually missed the Sky banner, Sky Layfield, and then what happened was, I was so sad about it, I was so salty about it that I said every time anyone asks me where's my Sky, I will do a 10 pull on the.
That's
on a
right, the
random banner.
Cartoon Network character, right? She looks like she's from
Yes.
fucking like.
Yes, that's why you see chat right now. They're asking me where's my Sky.
Yeah.
No, I did not get Sky. I don't have it yet, and I'm not pulling yet. I'm not playing games today.
Eh.
Nope, Neto, no, I'm not doing it.
That's
Okay, so
so
coming back to
funny.
topic.
Yeah.
So coming back to topic, I have always been a very big fan of Chifuyu. If you can say that's the first character I actually simped in CounterSide, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because she's just so useful, right?
Mhm.
She looks cool. She has the gigantic katana, and her ultimate literally slashes.
Gigantic katana. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's stop taking it out of context. And her ultimate slashes the moon, right? It cuts the moon up, and it was just really cool. She does silence on her special skill. She also reduces defense. She also does more damage to defenders. She's overall really, really great, and she just looks good.
Yeah. Cool, man.
I feel that.
I think I don't even know, man. Like I feel like I already got the Gaiun skin. That's like kind of like the main one I wanted. I think I'm leaning towards Ingrid because I think it is the best upgrade. But there's a lot of like other skins I'm like excited for like coming up soon. I also thought about Evelyn's because I think I like Evelyn's skin a lot more than her base. But yeah, I think it's gonna have to be Ingrid for me until we get some like the more August themed skins.
I am actually wondering, what if we own all the skins currently? What would they give us then as compensation for not being able to get a skin?
There's gonna be a lot of skins though. I don't believe you're able. Oh, unless you're really working very hard.
You mean like You mean like they give us like we can get more skins than we have? Like we
No.
No, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is like all the skins currently in the shop for the global, right?
Sure.
If we had bought all those already,
oh,
by the end of the month, they wouldn't be able to give us a skin, right?
I
So
guess
to give us
not.
some compensation for
Everyone
that.
just wail, dude. Everybody wail for the skins. Damn. Yeah. That's
Maybe
so
you
funny.
can talk to them and I don't know. Maybe we can just suggest if let's say you do have every skin, they
Yeah.
just compensate with admin coins. Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah,
possibly, yeah.
that's possibly.
That's
I mean, the
probably
most
what it
probable.
is.
Yeah, either that or quartz. And trust me, don't get quartz. Just go for admin coins.
You
For
get
sure.
1,000 quartz.
I'd be so disappointed if they gave me
Yeah.
1,000 quartz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the next thing we kind of going off of like what kind of out of order, but we kind of briefly touched on it a little bit, but like what drew you guys to CounterSide? Like what was like the main thing? What were the two big reasons why you came to CounterSide? Was like how did you hear about it? I know you said YD, right?
Mhm.
Simon, but like what made you like get into the game, and then like what made you like stay basically?
Ichi, you want to go first?
So yeah, like I said, I saw Lumi, the character Lumi, and I was like, I have to play this game just to get the character.
Yeah.
Two big reasons, yeah, two big
Yeah.
reasons directly on Lumi. Yeah. And honestly, what kept me was the PvP. This PvP in the game is just by and far better than literally every other gacha game's PvP.
Oh yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air for sure.
Yeah, the meta changing just about every week, and like having to build multiple units. There's never like one team, like a one size fits all team, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's so nice just to be able to be like, okay, this week's not my week. I can come back next week and possibly do better.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So that's really what kept me in the game.
Yeah, I pretty much like 100. I agree with all of that. Simon.
So, okay. Hold on. Guys, for those of you in the chat who can't seem to watch the stream because of an error 2000, if I'm not mistaken, you can try using a VPN service and see whether it works for you.
Sponsored by
Because I think-
NordVPN.
If only.
Hashtag ad.
You can try a VPN because I believe it's something to do with the IP address. For those of you who are watching, I believe from the Southeast Asian countries, on Twitch.
Yeah,
Right, let us know if it works for you.
yeah, I think that's what it is because I think some people can see chat, but they can't like actually see like the stream itself.
The audio, the video feed, yeah.
Um.
All right, I guess coming back to me.
Yeah.
What was the question then?
What drew you to CounterSide?
What drew me to CounterSide? Okay. I remember getting exposed to CounterSide for the very first time watching FG3000.
FG3000.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of the other content creators.
Oh, okay.
He is also one of the partner content creators. He's not. I haven't heard him say anything on the Discord channel yet.
Oh, that's probably why. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was the first one I've watched. The first content creator I watched that actually talked about CounterSide. And then what really got me interested was the game, the modes themselves, like how the battle system is
Sure.
like.
Yeah, it's
Because
very
back
unique.
in the day, yeah, it's very unique. It's like a card system, but not entirely as well.
Right.
And then there's like live battle as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, you know what? Why don't we give it a shot? And then when I went in, and the characters were amazing, the skill animation was great, everything's so flashy and cluttery, and I love it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And the skill cut-ins were amazing, and it was just, and it launched with the PC client. Okay, we'll talk more about this.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it has a PC client, and everything was so smooth, and it was so easy to just play whenever that was my computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And PvP was the thing that also got me going. Like there are only two reasons why I'm staying in CounterSide, right?
Two big reasons.
Yes, two big reasons that the game offers me to stay.
Sure.
One is the PvP. Second one is Danger Close.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And just like Ichi mentioned as well, there's this way, the method that they use in order to keep the meta fresh in PvP is just really innovative back in the day. All right. Nowadays, I believe even I don't believe recently there are any gacha games who does it like that.
I don't. Not that I know of.
None that I know of.
Or they're
yeah.
chibi, so I don't care. Like that's all it is.
But it's really so innovative, right? Like people have been trying to. Okay, personally, I feel like any competitive aspects of a gacha game is what keeps it going really, really long. Like if the shelf life of a game were to belong, there has to be a lot of competitive elements in it, right?
Yeah,
If not, it's
100%.
just going to be an idle game, and even idle games have a lot of competitive aspects to them now. So you just cannot run away from PvP. Like
Right.
Epic 7, for example, at first it boasts, PvE content and all sorts of stuff. But in the
Yeah.
end of the day, people are staying for the RTA. People are staying for the RTA.
Right. Yeah. No one's watching world boss speedruns or anything, right?
Nobody. And
Yeah.
nobody's gonna watch you stream hunt
Yeah.
farming for hours, dude.
That'd be weird,
And
chat, right?
yeah, the only game I know of that has no PvP elements in it and is still going strong is Genshin.
Oh yeah, I think we could spend a whole podcast talking about the anomaly that is Genshin. I think there's a lot of different reasons where it is what it is and why it is, where the state it is, and all sorts of different things about that. But I agree.
And the way the game is designed for CounterSide is like how various characters actually interact with one another, especially during a PvP match, and even in PvP and the PvE situation, is that so many things can happen
Mhm.
because there are 8 total units in a team,
Right.
right? And the sequence that you can drop them is also randomized to a certain extent if you're playing PvP
Right.
because
Yeah, like the
they
deck.
don't the deck itself don't come out as how you arranged it. It does for strat battle, but for rank battle it doesn't, right?
Right.
And just because of that, sometimes you got a bad hand and your strategy just flops,
Yeah. Yeah, Exodio
right?
is at the bottom of the deck.
And then losing the 50%, the 50/50 RNG, what do you call it, coin flip when you use Lake Superior's S2.
Yeah.
Yeah, all sorts of things can happen. And with the release of more characters in CounterSide, especially when the Max start, what do you call it, when Evolve 1 came, then
Oh
suddenly
God.
Max was just ruling PvP. You
That's
saw it
toxic.
yesterday, didn't
That's
you?
toxic, dude. What I saw
I
was a
know.
nightmare. That's not real.
Yes. So Ichi, I was actually demonstrating what E1 could do to to Fawn
Yeah.
yesterday.
It's gross,
And
man.
Oh god.
It's gross.
disgusting,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, PvP and Danger Goals. I don't want to talk too much about Danger Goals. There's just so much to talk about. But there's so many ways to approach that mode,
Mhm.
right? And like I mentioned, if you're looking to be very competitive, like you want to go to the top 100, top 50, maybe even top 30,
Uh-huh.
there are very specific team comps and specific conditions you want to meet so that you can get the optimum score.
Sure.
But if let's say you're just trying to find ways to just have fun with the boss, like just trying to be innovative, there's so many ways. There's the slow strategy, there's the speed run strategies, and then there's the, different units can drop, different defenders you can use, just so that you can overcome certain mechanics of the boss. It's amazing.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So let's we can dive into Danger Close here in a little bit because I know that's like super up. Oh, I know you said you didn't want to talk about Danger Close a whole bunch, but we can dive into it in just a second. Or
Sure.
here in a bit. But as far as what drew me to CounterSide, I actually was playing Epic 7 quite a bit at the time, and I think I think I was either Genazad or YD. I forgot who it was, but I was like watching one of them for Epic 7, and then like it was probably everybody, to be honest. Like Car 6 was streaming CounterSide, like pretty much every Epic 7 streamer at the time, because there's a content drought, was streaming CounterSide. Did I say that right? Everybody streaming Epic 7 was streaming CounterSide. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what's this? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, another game that's not chibis. Like, another game that's like, it's a gacha game. It's got cool characters, 2 big reasons, and they're not chibis. And I was like, sick. I was like, cool. But I think when I kind of want to talk about this for a little bit. I don't want to like have it the main topic or anything, but the C experience was significantly worse than global. Like, or you could even word it like global has been just extremely, just so much better than the C launch. And I just kind of like wrote CounterSide off as like, oh, it's a fun game to do some polls, and then you just kind of move on with your life. And then when I started playing, the amount of quality of life changes. It feels like a different game when I came to play global, because I initially came to play CounterSide just to do some polls, and then go back to playing whatever I was playing. And I was like, wait, holy crap. I was like, this game's actually like way better than I remember. And like, it just feels so much better, like entirely. there's so I think we could spend like an hour talking about the quality of life changes just for global, but I think the main thing that drew me in, uh, I think the combat, like besides like the difference between C and global, I think a lot of it has to do with the character art is amazing. They're not chibis. That's a huge deal for me. I can't do it, man. Like, it could be the best game ever, but if they're chibis, I just can't play it. Like, I don't care. I just don't care. And then the other thing is the combat. It's like super unique. Like it's not. It's like live battle, but it's kind of time battle, but kind of not. There's a lot of strategy elements to it. And initially, it kind of just looks like maybe AFK Arena, where you just kind of like let things happen in auto. And sure, if you're just playing like the main bulk of content, and you're not worried about like, you know, pushing high up in danger close, or doing like really competitive PvP, or, you know, finishing like high end challenges. It pretty much is that for the most part. But once you start pushing into that a little bit more, you get to optimize your team and have more strategy elements, which I think is really cool, man. And I mean, there's probably like 30 different reasons why, or what drew me into CounterSide, but we'll kind of like dive into that a little bit. But I'd say the main bulk of it is the character art and like the gameplay. I think it's like a really big deal.
Yeah, it really is. There's just this magic about CounterSide where everything they've designed just gels so well with each other,
Yeah.
regardless of whether it's like a campaign mode or I don't know, PvP, danger close, raids, whatever, dives, and all these sort of shenanigans.
Oh yeah,
It
for sure.
just, yeah, the chemistry is just that good. Like, um,
Actually,
okay, well,
since we're already
yeah,
kind of talking about it, let's just talk about what's made global a good experience. Like, let's just talk about. I kind of want to touch on the roadmap for a second. But let's just talk about for a second, like what has made global a better experience. Like the difference between C, whether it be like the implementation of like certain things, maybe just quality of life or in general. But I just want to hear your guys' thoughts. Like as far as like what has made global more successful, or just if you think global has been more successful, maybe you disagree.
I don't know if global's been more successful per
Yeah,
se. I think that C had a pretty large audience, not gonna lie.
sure.
The From what I could tell from the total amount of people in PvP, there seemed to be more people on the C side
Hmm.
than the global side. But I feel like global isn't gonna hit the point of this game is either too fast or too slow or not enough content, you know?
True. Like,
Because we have the roadmap, we know what's coming up,
yep.
uh, and we can expect things. Unlike on the C server was a little roller coaster.
Yeah.
You had a new banner every week at the very start, just about,
Yep.
and then they give us like 3-week updates, and then 2-week updates, and then
Yep.
like 1 week, and then 3-week, and then 2-week again, and I was so confused at what was going on.
There was no consistency. Yeah, it felt like
Yeah,
you got put in a bag and
yeah.
then just shook. Like,
And then the guys from the C servers will probably remember how long administrative banner was delayed for us,
yeah.
right? When when the C server started off, we didn't have the admin rifleman, the shieldman, and everybody was waiting for them because they were just so cool, right?
mhm. A lot of people in
So
chat are saying skip battles and no chess mode.
Oh
What?
yeah,
yeah,
that's oh man.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Ichi, how long did you play it on the C servers?
I played the Siege for about 6-7 months. So from launch for like 6 to 7 months after that.
Okay, so then you probably also have to suffer through the pain that most of the C players did.
Yeah, I suffered through all the pain. Yeah.
Jesus, it was amazing. I mean, it was fun for a while because you really need, in order for you to achieve 3 medals in a single run
Yeah.
for the chessboard thing, you really need to think, all right, what ships, how they move,
Yeah.
who goes first, and
Yeah.
all the swapping. It was fun for a while, but it's not fun when if you want to actually farm that stage on auto,
Yeah.
and they have to just step, one step, just give me my loot.
I think when Client 1 came out, I did like a 10-hour stream of doing those stages trying to get 3 medals all in one run. And the amount
Oh
of
my
mental
god.
capacity I needed to just like I was done. I was completely done after it.
Yeah, for me, like I think there's like a time and a place for it. like having it be its own specific thing, I don't want to dive super into it because I don't even know like what could be different about it without like spending an entire like discussion talking about it specifically. But it was such a for me, it was such a big deal that they took it out of story mode. Like that story mode was just go through the story, and you don't have to worry about like free contract and do all this other. You don't have to worry about like having multiple teams, and I think it really threw like a lot of players off for a C server to be like, wait, I have to have like a bunch of ships now and like and a bunch of teams. But it was so easy to recommend people for global, just like, hey, just build 8 strong units, which will later become 4 different teams. But it was kind of hard to tell people in C server like, yeah, just build 30 units, like just go for it, man.
That was one other thing for the C server. The only veterans were from the Korean server, and I
Mhm.
guess the Taiwan server as well, but
Mhm.
they were mainly from the KR server. And there was like we don't have Pridwin, we don't have
Yep.
anything really besides it was a spreadsheet of the banners.
Yeah.
that was it.
Oh
Damn.
yes, that spreadsheet.
Yeah, Pride One is a pretty big deal. I think it's like a really good resource. Yeah, I like that website a lot. Spreadsheet gaming is not the way to go.
Yeah.
So
Credits to Antilau and the team.
Mm-hmm.
so as far as like the roadmap, I think we kind of touched on it for a second, but I think the roadmap was a big deal. Like I think it really was like a super big deal. Like I feel like we could talk about it for like a billion years. But I think that I don't know about you guys, but for me, like I remember watching the global launch trailer and seeing that like right in they were like, oh, we're gonna have a roadmap, and then it was just like everything was just so like clear and listed. I think that was a huge deal, and I hope that I hope that wasn't just a launch thing. Who knows what'll happen? But I hope that that after Steam release that they you know have another roadmap or like another. I think the clarity and what's it called, the communication is very important.
Yeah, they really should because, like Ichi said as well, for the C servers, I don't know about the Korean and the Taiwan, but I think we have similar experiences. Is that we really do not know what's going to come until Antilla actually does data mining, right? But there was okay, I won't even touch on it. What happened during the data mining seasons? But that was our only source of like information.
Yeah.
So on on most weeks, because we don't know what's going to come, a
Uh-huh.
lot of us are just saving resources where we don't really know what we need it for.
Right.
It was a how should I put it? When you're in the situation, you don't feel like it's actually that bad. But thinking back, it was just like, dude, you just you have no you have nothing to look forward to, And everything was just a reference from the Korean servers.
Right.
And Zilong is just doing whatever they want with the content release, the sequence, and
You
the
could
and the
just
timing.
stop the sentence. You could just say Zlong is doing whatever they want, and then
Yeah.
that's the end of the sentence. Like, let's be
Oh,
honest. I don't know, man.
Like we had so little info.
Yeah.
Every week I was just like, "I'll add him next week, guys. I promise."
Yeah. Yeah. That's so crazy,
happened.
man. Well,
Yeah.
For the longest time.
so you're saying like, no, go for it. Go for
But
it.
I'm curious though. I'm actually curious. Because Ichi played it for about 6 to 7 months,
Mhm.
and I think Fawn, you stopped
Like
2,
a
3
month,
months into
dude.
it, right?
Like a month,
month.
man.
So I am more curious to know how you feel about how the pacing of the global servers right now, because it's a little bit unfair to ask. Not I wouldn't say it's not unfair to ask. It's like it's very my opinions are very biased
Right.
because
Mhm.
what I experienced in the C servers, we actually have quite a little bit of time, even though I'd say Zilong doing whatever they want, right? But we do have a bit of time to save up enough black tickets on most weeks, right? To actually almost hit pity for most awakened banners, except for a few, right? Where they just suddenly they probably got drunk, after work and say, you know what, boss, we haven't decided when are we gonna release Replacer Queen.
Fuck
Do it
it.
next week.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it.
Next week. And then he signs the paper, and then the next day they put it up to management, and then when he comes, so when are we releasing Replacer Queen again? Use it next week. What?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it's really just very different because we have an expectation, right? We
Right.
knows that when we first started the game, it's probably going to be something like this. And oh wow, you drop Awakened Hilde upon release.
Right.
fine. So then the reroll experience and expectation is also different, right? Most people will want to reroll for Wicked Heal Day,
Right.
especially at the very beginning.
Yeah, that was a big
And
deal.
yes, it is.
I think.
And
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off. You were saying?
No. I just think it was a big deal. Like I think a lot of people were also taken back or like really excited for the fact that you could get a hild.
Yeah.
I think that also helped a lot of players. I think without diving too deep into it, the reroll process for CounterSide is like the easiest reroll process I've ever experienced in like in a gacha game ever. Like ever. it took like 3 minutes. Like or maybe 5, I don't know. Like I'm sure it was like slightly longer, but like the difference between even 5 and 15 minutes, I mean that's like I don't even know. I can't think of a game that's like 15, maybe Epic 7, but like that's 3 times as much rerolls. Like you have, and the rates were like really fair. Like you weren't just like hoping, oh, I hope I get a purple spark. Oh, I hope I get this, like whatever. It's like a 1% chance, right? And you had 12 pulls, so like that's pretty good.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm also talking this not because from a whale's perspective, right? And we just talk about the packages that they actually have on sale in the shop.
Mhm.
And if you compare the value you get for what you pay
Right.
to a lot of other gacha games out there, CounterSide is actually one of the more how to say, they give you bigger value for the amount of money you spend.
Yeah.
So if you imagine a 10 pull for a awaken unit is 2,750 quartz for 11 pulls.
Yeah, I believe
right?
so.
And that refreshes weekly.
Right.
Right. And the amount of admin coins you need to spend on the quartz you need to spend in order to get that same amount. If you compare that with any other gacha games, like for example R3 Gear, Epic 7. Oh, Epic 7 is freakishly expensive.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Jesus Christ, the Moonlight Summon and the what bookmarks are those again? The Mystic bookmarks.
Well, the other problem about Epic 7, there's the end of the sentence. Just there, the other problem. There's problems with Epic 7. The difference between like the Moonlight pulls and say like Awaken units is, I think some people in chat like the other day we were talking, it's like we'd probably say like 30%. 30%, is that a triggering number? 15% of the units in Epic 7 are extremely strong. Epic for Moonlight wise, right? Like Moonlight 5 wise, like 15% of them are like game break, like Bellion, Aola, I guess she's not an ML5, but you know, ML Ricky, all these other units are like super strong, and the rest of them are like okay, right? But it's so expensive to get them, and like there's so many of them that like targeting a specific one is like good luck, man. I think that's like a big deal too, because it's not only expensive, but it's hard to target. The chances of targeting a specific, like not only do we get like 60, if you do everything free to play without spending any money, assuming you have the quartz, you get 60 classified recruitments in CounterSide. So you know, every like 2.5 months or something, right? I don't know, because the banner schedule is kind of weird, but you can effectively like you'll be able to get them all. Like it's just a matter of time. And Epic 7, that's like a 2 years matter of time. And I know people who've been playing since day one and don't have all the ML5s. Like
I don't.
That's crazy. It's like 3 years. Like that's like 3 years of like and not just like, well, I just log in. Like there's people who are like straight up dedicated to Epic 7, pull on everything, do their guild wars, do everything, and don't have all the ML5s. And it's like, oh my god, bro. Like that's crazy to me. I think it's 3 years.
Sure it's older than 3 years old.
Is it
Like,
older than
It's
3?
more than 3. It's more than 3 now because I stopped in the second.
Oh god, I erased that from my brain. Yeah. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. And another thing about CounterSide is like when I first saw the roadmap, what really just stunned me was Danger Close coming in the second month. I was like, what?
Yeah, we got it pretty fast, man.
Yeah, it's really fast because when I think it was the 3rd month, right? When Danger Close came to the C servers, or was it the 4th? I don't remember, but it's around there, right? And we had so much trouble with it. Like, it's not funny. Nobody killed the boss on first season.
No one did. It was like, how do you even do this? What units do you use? We don't have the info like we do on global.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot more resources.
Yes, and then not only that, when when they say they're going to release Danger Close on the second month of global servers, they're also going to include the battle report, which is, it blew my mind because it's a complete different ballgame.
Like the
when
debuffs you're
Danger,
talking about.
yes, the buffs and the
Mhm.
debuffs. So when Danger Close was first released in the C servers, or the KR servers and the Taiwan servers, it was just really people trying to find the right strategy to be able to kill the boss, right? And after that, the more competitive ones like Nine Sun, Nazik, Hales back then, they were then thinking about, you know what, let's try to kill this really, really quick. How do we do that? And then people were then trying to just speedrun most of the bosses. They tried to find ways to do it, and it was so fun as well because that it was so it's so, you have to zoom in on the details to the point where how many units you're going to drop. Usually you have 8 in the deck, correct?
Yeah.
If you do speedrun strategies without the battle report, which is a deployment resource gain minus 30, was it 30-40%?
I think it's
Forgot.
30.
Okay. Yeah, 30%. Without that debuff, it was just a matter of like, okay, I need to kill the boss within 7 drops,
Right.
7 deployment, right? And when I'm gonna drop which, and the timing of when you drop certain units so they can stack the debuffs in order to burst down the boss, which I mentioned to Fawn as well. Like, units like Soyun are always there because in Danger Close there are certain parts of the fight that you just need to dish as much damage as possible, whether it's to try to just clear it in 1 minute, or whether it's to just complete the DPS check and whatnot.
Before we dive too deep back into Danger Close, because I know it's something that we said we don't want to
Yes.
do.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, let's go back to the roadmap. Because we could spend an entire stream talking about Danger Close for sure. But as far as the roadmap, like, how are you guys feeling about you were briefly talking about like the pacing of it. Like, how are you guys from like a C player experience? Like, how do you feel like the pacing is for you guys? How do you feel like the pacing is for most players or new players, maybe someone who hasn't experienced CounterSide at all, right?
Yeah. So from when I look at okay, we're just gonna talk about the pacing. Focus.
So Danger Close came out really good.
it looks really, really, I wouldn't say rushed.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's a lot of things to cover in a given month, right? Because I understand their concern, because if you look at the roadmap, the way they release content in the first 2 months, it's where it's really crucial to have enough content because people are the most enthusiastic about the game, especially at launch, right?
Yeah, I agree.
1-2 months after launch.
Yeah.
So I think the scenario they're trying to avoid is people are so happy about the game, they enjoy the game so much, and they just play it really for many, many hours a single day.
Yeah.
Like especially for those who are willing to spend a little bit and they purchase more Eternium to just keep going in the campaign stages, and then other stages that require Eternium, they can probably just breeze through a lot of content in less than 2 weeks.
Right.
So I guess they're trying to just release more things, like for example new units, new modes, so that these people can stay engaged, in the game for a bit longer. I get that, but
I think no. So I mean, like, I think personally, maybe this is a hot take, but I feel like the pacing is like done as perfect. Like, I think it's perfectly tuned. Like, I think if it was slower, it'd feel kind of weird, and if it was faster, we'd be like throwing up. I think it'd be nice, and this is just kind of like a sidebar kind of thing. It'd be sick if they had like if they reran like the Awaken units as the other ones were coming out. I don't know how people would feel about that, but like, it's just kind of like, here's the next Awakened unit, and then that one's gone, then the next one, and then this one's gone, and then the next one, and it's kind of like, well, shit. So you have to keep up with that, and then, well, what if I miss one that I really, really want, But they might not get their rerun for like another 6 months now because we're just getting everything so fast. So I don't know if they will do this, and I think there was some speculation, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. But with a Hild potentially getting a rerun between Ayuna and Nayuban, and also potentially Lee Su-yeon, because she was on the roadmap visually. I know it didn't say her name, but there's like a whole bunch of stuff to unpack with that alone. So I want to get your guys, before I keep talking, I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. as far as how do you feel about Rerun Awakens? What are your thoughts on the time slot between a Yuna and Na Yubin? And then what do you think about Lee Soo-yeon? Like, what do you think is going to happen with her? Do you think it's just a visual thing for the roadmap?
My thing on that is I hope it's ALSY because I kind of want her to come out,
Yeah,
and like she comes with the maze event, so it would make sense
right,
for that to work out that way. But also having a rerun would help out the free-to-play players
right.
try to catch back up on their black tickets, especially if they spent a lot on the Unibanner here, because a lot of people are telling people to spend on the Unibanner.
Yeah, she's like
Right?
the main one everybody is going for.
Yeah. So the rerun would help, but also I want ALSY.
Yeah, same.
That's how I see it.
It's kind of interesting because for me, like, and I want to get your thoughts, Simon. So I'll only say this really quick, but for me, I really want Ae Soo-yoon, man. She's like my carrot. She's like the thing that I like. You always have like that one character in a game that you're like, that's the one that I want the most, and like I need to get them, right? And so Ae Soo-yoon is that for me. So with Na Yubin, Ae Soo-yoon, and Lee Soo-yeon like all coming up like pretty much around the same time. We don't really know about Lee Soo-yeon and what's gonna happen, and we don't officially know about Ae Soo-yoon. But like, yikes, dude, it's a lot. So it's kind of stressful. And I know I spend a little bit, but I wouldn't call myself a whale. I'm very much a budget spender. But like even then, it's like I can't get them. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to make a choice. But anyway, Simon, I want to get your thoughts on it too. Like, how do you feel potentially about a rerun, potentially about Lee Soo-yeon coming?
Okay, so to me, what I'm really looking at when it comes to the way the Awakened banners are being released, right, is that how many weeks they plan to have
Mm-hmm.
before the next new Awakened unit. I mean, in between they can do reruns, and I think that is absolutely fine because then people who didn't manage to catch that specific Awakened unit when the banner was first released, they still have a bit of time to catch up,
Right.
to really get them. And I think that's absolutely fine. But what really matters to me is that if let's say they drop Awakened unit just a few days ago, right?
Sure.
And then let's say a fortnight later, they drop whether it's Awakened Soyun or Awakened Lee Soo-yeon, it's going to really pressure quite a little bit of the player base because if I don't know the exact demographic of the current global players,
Right.
I'm not sure if I personally know a lot of C players actually do play global as well,
Right.
and because of our region and we're playing it on the emulator, and also how the Google, the App Store policy is done right now, a lot of us, even if we want to whale, we can no longer whale on it.
Right.
Yeah, so once we get start for tickets, especially for Awaken Yuda and maybe Serapel and Harab, it's really gonna turn a lot of the regions of people who cannot spend. It's gonna turn them off very, very quickly.
Yeah. Well,
So that's why, like I said, the concern is when are they gonna release the next new one rather than whether they do rerun banners or not.
yeah, I think we could keep talking about it for sure, but I do want to keep moving forward because that's actually a really good segue. So you kind of talked about like Steam release. I don't know if you exactly talked about it, but you talked about like the emulation and like BlueStacks and LD Player and all this stuff is like not super optimal. What do you guys think could make Steam a similar experience? Like, the global experience we'd say maybe is not as number wise as successful, but I would say it's quality wise is more successful. Is that fair to say?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that quality wise it is more successful.
So with that implication, like we're assuming that, what do you think could make Steam a better experience than the global launch, right? So you had Steam, global. What can make C, global, and then Steam? What can make that even better, or a similar or even better experience?
A better experience,
Like event
well, like
wise,
obviously,
or like
event wise.
yeah, like anything, man. Like events, like any sort of like rewards. Like what do you think would need? What do you think that they would need? New players would feel what would be best to keep like the population healthy, right? Like with the roadmap, maybe potentially or something. Or I guess maybe even a easier question say what potentially could drive people away. Like
with them not having any events for the
Right.
Steam launch, because Steam's gonna bring a lot of people in most likely because it's a new game. It's gonna be on the Steam store and stuff.
Sure.
So like a different population of people is gonna see the game and they're gonna try it out. And I feel like these people aren't generally gacha players,
Right.
so they're gonna see like you can spend on the game and whatnot, and they may not want to play as much. But if there's generous enough rewards to get new players in and not feel like they're behind, then it'll definitely keep more people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because if they have all these like cool rewards and stuff, and the current player base gets all those rewards too, it doesn't really
Right.
fix the problem of the people being behind, the new people being behind. It just like
Yeah, it's kind of like a lose. If it almost feels like a lose because it's like, whoa, we didn't get the new player rewards. What the hell? We've been playing since day one.
No,
but then
that's not what I meant.
No, I know.
I kind of meant like
I know, I understand what you're saying, but I think that there'd be a population of people that would say that would be like, what the hell, man? Like we want more rewards too. But then it's like, well, we already got our rewards and we've been playing since day one, so we're already like, no matter what, way ahead of everybody else. But I could see that happening also, like as well as like if they gave rewards to everyone, which I think is more likely, right? It'll kind of feel like, well, didn't really help us catch up too much or something.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. It's that people won't feel like they're caught up if everyone gets the rewards, right?
Yeah, because it's not really like a boost. It's just kind of like it just happens. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, they just needed proper new player incentives, right?
Well, they could even, I don't know how you guys would feel about it, but what if they reran like some of the events or even all the events that we technically got, but specific, like they just re-upped like the events that we got at launch, but just for new players, like specifically for people logging in for the first time, they would have the 160 thing or whatever, maybe even in tandem with the 100 polls, I don't know, so that they would just have like a ton of stuff to get from. I don't know how you guys would feel about that, or if that would feel too not respectful for everybody else's time.
I feel like it'd be fine for them to get the 160,
Mm-hmm.
but like they would need more like resource wise to build units over getting more pulls.
True.
Like, it's good they got the 160 for sure. They need that because they're gonna need units,
right?
But they're gonna need more resources to build those units.
I think resources would be like a better, even like a resource, because they're gonna have the 100 poll event, I think, with us as well. So I hope they run in tandem. And Simon, I want to get your thoughts here in a second too, so I'll kind of keep this short, but I hope, yeah, that'd be really cool if they gave us like new players, like a resource event, as well as like the 100 polls or whatever, so that they would be easier to catch up.
I do think that it would definitely be an incentive for newer players if they do come in from other, I would say, platforms, like for example Steam, right? Because in the end of the day, those rewards feel is the purpose they serve is literally to help the new players catch up, and the whole reason why you want to help new players catch up is so that they don't feel left out, and they can catch up with the more experienced players, right?
Yeah,
I think that will definitely work. I have another thought though regarding these. And I feel like Steam would really bump up the population a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is just like Ichi mentioned as well, because it's a totally different platform. Different people will be exposed to the game and whatnot. But I think when it's on Steam, it literally means it's a PC client.
Right.
And you will have your 21:9 ratio.
Yeah, dude, that looks so good, man. That looks so nice.
And then the experience overall is going to be very much smoother. Okay, so my biggest gripe currently playing CounterSide Global
let's get into it.
As in the C servers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not C servers, the C region, is that I can only rely on emulators, and regardless of how powerful your PC is, the emulator still takes more loading time.
Yeah.
And when I play Danger Close, or when we're trying hard for Danger Close or any other modes, we restart the match very, very frequently.
Right.
Right, and every single time you have to wait for the loading screen, it takes up so long, and it really just turns me off a little bit. Right, so I think having more optimized performance when it comes to the game, it's going to improve the experience of the players.
Yeah,
And I think that also plays a really big part in keeping a person playing the game for a very long time.
I agree. I think I know it's kind of like a joke. I forgot which developer was talking about like UI. It was some developer was like shitting on Elden Ring because they were like jealous or something. Like on Twitter, and they're like, nobody plays, or it's like people play a game for UI, like Elden Ring's UI is like shit or something like that. And I think it was like a hyper, obviously they were jealous, and obviously nobody gives a shit, right? Like Elden Ring's UI is fine, I think. But
Yeah.
obviously when it's I don't, there is some problems with the UI even after it's been optimized, but it's more about just optimization in general. And I think no matter what, yeah, if the game's, if you can't play the game, or if it's crashing all the time, then it doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter. You're just eventually, there's going to be some people who are dedicated, and just everyone has their own meter. Everyone has their own meter as far as what they can put up with. I have a pretty high meter because like I do this, I make this content with this. I very much enjoy the game. Like I'm super dedicated. So even if it was crashing every 5 minutes, I would still play it. But most people won't do that, right? And so I think
Exactly.
yeah, the less there is of that, the better. Because there's some people who like a game crashes once and they're like, broken game, even though it was like an anomaly. Yeah. So there's some people. There's some people who just straight up do that. And so, if it happens even on a daily basis, that's going to turn off way more people. Obviously, that's kind of maybe a personal issue and it's when it's one time, but yeah, I agree. I think having the game more optimized, and I hope Steam is I mean, I'm assuming that the client's going to be similar to the C client, I guess, right? Just on Steam. But I think it's pretty smooth, right?
Oh, that got me thinking. You know what? Since it's on Steam, I just remember one thing. So, if it's on mobile, we always see whether we. Sorry. Oh,
You're going to talk about Danger Close?
No. I'm not touching Danger Close. Okay. What I wanted to say was, on the mobile platform, regardless whether it's iOS or the App Store or Co-app or whatever that you're using, right? When we look at a new game, especially a new one, we look at the star rating and the reviews, correct?
Yeah.
But now that it's on Steam, it also has Steam reviews.
True. That's actually kind of a big deal. I didn't think about that, actually.
Yeah, and if let's say people really like it, and of course the existing player base is gonna like it, and if we we give it good reviews, and then it starts getting traction, we'll never know that it actually gets more attention than it should.
That's actually, I didn't really even think about Steam reviews, because that is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for PC players. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I think to be 100% honest, there is a lot of mobile players. I think there's a lot of even like people I see like on Twitter and even like on like my YouTube comments who will still say like, oh, I play Epic 7, is it similar to this, or I play this game, is this any good? So there's still people who are actively in the mobile, like already know these exist, right? They play mobile games, they have an emulator, they already know what's coming out. So I'd probably say like, and I don't know, maybe if you guys disagree, but I feel like it's pretty fair to say like maybe 80 to 90% of people who know about CounterSide right now, or who would know about it, are already played it or already playing it. Is that relatively fair?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Because I feel like the specific mobile market, or like in the niche that it is, maybe it's 70%, I don't know. But I feel like most people who already know about it are playing it, but there's a whole bunch of other people who have no idea, who even play similar games to these, especially like we kind of talked about a while ago. I don't think Genshin Impact is a 1-to-1 by any means, but there's a lot of people who've dabbled with gacha games, and I feel like could have a good experience with the game, because it is a good game. You know what I mean? Like it's a very solid game. Let's see. Someone says Steam reviews are huge. Most people look at ratings to decide if they want to try the game out. Yeah, I agree with that, right? I think pretty much everyone
exactly.
can. Yeah. So I think it already has a good rating on mobile, but how many people are going on mobile to look at gacha games and then finding CounterSide specifically? But on Steam, if it's got a good rating, then it's like, oh, well, maybe this game's good, and oh, the pictures look cool, I guess, and everyone seems to have a good experience with it, so maybe I'll try it out. Oh, there's a bunch of events. Oh, that sounds fun. Oh, the summer skins, man. I like two big.
Oh, the skins.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal. 2 big reasons for to download a CounterSide this summer, guys. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, kind of like what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like as far as like the reviews, I mean, we have like the whole roadmap in August. Like how do you and we got the summer skins, we have Nayubin, we have the 100 polls event, we have E-Free, which might be a big deal for a lot of players. And yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? Like what are your hopes, concerns, comments, concerns about Steam release? Hello?
Gee,
uh,
Let me go
honestly,
first
like,
then.
yeah.
Okay, so like I mentioned as well, I think the Steam, if let's say it's on Steam and the review, what the review does to the game is absolutely going to be huge, right?
Yeah.
I won't say we're going to have a gigantic leap of player base,
Right.
but at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
very least, it gives us the potential to actually have a different stream of audience, and we can. Oh, wait, I haven't actually considered this. This just popped up in my mind. You know, Steam games, they actually have this platform to stream it on Steam as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I believe a lot of people who actually shops on Steam and wait, is the summer sale still going on right now? Hold on, let me double check.
I don't think
Oh,
CounterSide will come out
it's
in
over
time
now,
for
I
it.
think.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are also seasons where hold on, give me a second. Thank you. I ran out of water. Uh, so there are sales or seasons on Steam that
Mhm.
actually allows games to gain more exposure, right? I don't know how that works. That really depends on B-side and what they do with Steam. But it also opens up a separate avenue for the game to actually gain so much more attention. And
Right.
I like bringing this up is because I think the game deserves more of it, right? And I believe both of you agree with me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the whole reason I wouldn't say it flopped, it didn't do so well for the other regions, is that the publisher didn't seem to, maybe they did, but if I don't see it, means they didn't, right? So
Right. Right.
they didn't do enough for such a game with such good potential to actually shine as it should.
Well, I think a lot of people that I'm seeing in chat have talked about there's no ads. Like
Yeah, I haven't heard of or seen any ads for the game. I
I've
think I had one friend say that he saw an ad.
I've never seen a CounterSide ad like ever. I only knew about it
Why-
because of Twitch.
Yeah, and why not, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't work in marketing. I've never worked in marketing. I have no marketing experience. I've advertised stuff from like I used to play in like a lot of bands like when I was in high school and then like post high schools and you know, do content creation. So I know something about it, but like I don't know like when to like a corporate level. I don't know what it takes to do that, right? So
Yeah. So,
I can't really like speak 100% like, oh, you know, just run more ads. Come on, do more
I,
ads. You know,
that
so I don't
honestly
know.
might be what they need. Just do more ads. Like you see Raid Shadow Legends literally everywhere.
Yeah, they spend all their
yeah,
money on ads though.
Like
yeah.
you'd think like they were running out of money because like they're throwing it all into ads, but the game's still going.
You know what?
It's been how long?
Exactly.
A couple of years now.
You know what? Raid
Like I'm
Shadow.
not saying
Oh,
they need to
go
do
So
the
I
ahead.
can
same thing. Like
so I
spend
can
everything
share a
on
little bit
ads.
about the marketing aspect of things because my day job, it does have some relation to it. So is it safe to say it online? I am mainly in
NDA.
charge of the digital marketing side of my company, right? So
And what's the
I
address? I'll go
okay,
for
that
it.
one I
Go.
cannot reveal.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what you usually do as a company, it also depends on the size and the budget that you allocate for this sort of like advertising and marketing budget, right?
Hmm.
How much your company is willing to spend in order to just tell people so that one day the amount of money you spend comes back as a return of investment,
Hmm.
correct? However, marketing, if let's say you are how should I put it, you need to really set a very specific mindset for marketing because you let's just say you throw in 50,000 100,000 US dollars, right?
Right.
And then you cannot expect a return of let's say 200 because what you're literally doing with your marketing budget is to just tell people.
Well, yeah. So marketing is like, and I don't know if you're about to touch on this, but marketing is like for the most part like immediate value. There's no immediate value. Like you don't spend like $100,000 and then all of a sudden a bunch of players come back and then spend $200,000 and it's like, holy shit, that was crazy. Like it's just to put your name out there and then just to occupy space, because a lot of it's like subliminal. Like a lot of advertising is like subliminal. So like you see CounterSide ad and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you're on the app store looking through games, like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then you download it. And then maybe eventually you spend money, but it's more about like the general population, which will boost people. So it's not about everyone spending money. It's just about making the game bigger so that there is people that spend money, right? So that the people who spend money grows.
Exactly. So that's basically how they would usually, they should usually plan their
Right.
marketing stuff. And you can gimp on a lot of different expenses when it comes to the operations of a particular company, but you usually try not to gimp your marketing and advertising
Right.
budget. The reason is because there are two things that keeps the company running,
Mhm.
right? Sales and exposure.
Two big reasons.
So yeah, by sales literally meaning it's the income revenue, right? So for a gacha game, it's 100% the players. They're
Mhm.
your customers. They play your game. They can be free to play, but those who whale or dolphin, they buy, they pay, because there's just no other way your game is gonna make you money, because no company's gonna say, oh hi, I like your game, I'm gonna sponsor you this much with
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just put my ads on there. Yes, there are a lot of games that does that. Games I dislike actually do that, where you just click and watch the ad for 15 seconds and then you get certain in-game rewards.
Yeah.
There are games that do that, but CounterSide doesn't. And I feel like
We have ads
they did
though.
it right. They
Unless
do.
Oh, okay. Maybe I
Wait, do
misheard.
they?
Yeah, we have ads. We get ads for Eternium and storage, but we don't have. I've never seen a CounterSide ad for another game. Like I've never played a game, done the free ad thing, and then saw CounterSide, if that's what you mean. But CounterSide, you can
Yes.
watch ads in CounterSide.
Yes, the one that lets you increase the what do you call that? The storage size of your units, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I think they it's okay to have it, but just try not to over congest it, because some games just like, oh, would you like to have double the amount of rewards? Watch a 30-second ad,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you really just have to weigh the pro and cons. Like, do you think your player base will be turned off by too many of those 30-second ads?
I think I want to talk about something really quick, but I briefly want to say I think something that's really great, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but CounterSide doesn't like blow your news feed up with like buy this pack, do this thing. It's like for the most part, you kind of almost don't even know the shop exists. Like it's just so hidden, and I think it's kind of cool. Like I don't know, maybe they'd make more money if they showed it up in your face, but like in Epic 7, as soon as you pull a new unit, it's like buy an awakening pack, and you're like, what? And then you get a specialty change. Yeah, exactly.
So it's rubbing it in your face. Didn't get the ML5 you want here.
Yeah, here's some more things you can do, and it's like, oh, I just want to play the game, and then you're like, exit. Oh, another one, exit. Okay, another one, exit. And it's like, I don't care, man. Like I just want to play the game. And if I want to buy something, I'm pretty sure I could find where the shop is. You know what I mean? Like it's the UI isn't unsearchable. Like you just press the menu and it's shop right there. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the fact that they do that is really nice. But the thing I wanted to talk about as far as advertising goes, what do you guys think about like collabs? What do you guys think about like a collab? Like I'm not talking about the Guilty Gear one. That would be cool, but I mean with another gacha game that would like be able to create more revenue, because that's advertising in its own way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like people who play the other game check out this game, or the anime. So like if they had if there's a cool anime that was out or something that was popular and they somehow got them to sponsor them, people would be like, oh man, I like anime and I like video games, maybe I'll try this out. And then kind of vice versa, right? So like, what do you guys think about that?
I think collabs would be a great thing.
Yeah.
To include, because there was already one collab, right with the Guilty Gear, but I feel like they kind of got distracted with putting out more servers and like trying to do more content for the game than doing more collabs.
Sure.
Right. And now with the global release being out, I feel like they could put more money into getting collabs going now.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And especially with like I don't know, I'm sure that there's an Excel sheet of like the money that they pull in. I'm not too sure. But I think with Steam, it's actually going to boost. I think their sales are going to go up, right? Like that's just kind of like It's not going to go down with Steam, right? They're going to get
Yeah.
more people to play the
Mhm.
game. More people are going to spend money. So maybe by that time that'll be kind of like in the works, or maybe they're already doing something. We don't know about it, but who knows? I don't know if something like global would be able to get precedent, because wouldn't Korea have to get something as well in order for us to get
I
it?
wasn't saying that global got precedence. I'm saying that like I feel like they're done setting or making new servers,
No. I know.
so
No,
they don't have to put those resources into that anymore.
no. I know what you mean. I just mean like, I guess I'm just asking, if we got a collab, would it have to be something that Korea got as well, or would you think global by any chance would ever get its own collab specifically?
Okay, I really
Uh,
think global has a really high potential to actually have their own collabs that the other games, other regions don't have. The reasons, because we have to be very clear that these other regions, which is Korea, Taiwan, JP, and also the C region,
Mm-hmm.
the publisher for CounterSide is actually Zilong Games,
Right.
right? Whereas the global one is actually by, who was it again? Was it B-Side or was it Nexon?
yeah,
Oh,
Studio.
the studio itself, B-side.
Studio
Yeah.
B-Side, right?
Yeah.
So, and this opens up the possibility of them, the freedom, sorry. It gives them the freedom to do whatever they want with their content,
Yeah.
right? And we should view this two as, I wouldn't say completely different games, but this is going to be handled by different people,
Right.
right? And thus, right, what I'm personally thinking is that if B-Side actually takes a different path compared to what Zilong did, instead of, expanding to various other regions in the Southeast Asia, and like Ichi said, start collabing with other, depending on who they want to do collabs with, I
Right.
think it would really be a very good choice.
Yeah.
And but then when it comes to collab, it got me thinking, right? the Who would be interested in collabs? Like, I give you an example. Let's say Guilty Gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as though that the people who are followers or fans of Guilty Gear, when they see, oh, they're having a collab with this game called CounterSide, I'm just gonna pick it up and try.
Right. Right.
Right? It's these collabs really just, it to me feels more like a reinforcement of keeping the current player base
Yeah. Yeah.
continue playing,
It's not pulling
because
anybody new in, maybe.
exactly, unless it's a different type of collab. Like, for example, Azure Lane and CounterSide collab.
Oh my god, if we get an Azure Lane collab, dude.
or maybe Epic
Holy
7
shit.
CounterSide collab, right?
Yeah.
If it's cross gacha game, then it's a very, the purpose is very obvious, right? Where Epic 7 wants people who play CounterSide to know about them, and CounterSide want people from Epic 7 to also know about them.
How
So
often do I don't feel like gacha games very often, unless they are directly related, collab, unless I might be wrong about that.
I don't
I
know
have
many that collab that don't have like the same publisher.
Yeah, cuz it's like,
oh
I think like I understand what you're saying, and I agree for the most part. Like it's it's just kind of like, well, we bring in people for you and you bring in people for us, but we, like, they secretly just wish that that they're the one that the people play the most, right? And most people play, like, I don't know. I would say the average player who plays a gacha game maybe plays 2, maybe 3, right? Like, you're not normally playing like 5 or 6 gacha games, so having more competition, I think isn't really ever like super desired. Like, Epic 7 did a collab with Guilty Gear, and then ReZero, and then Kazuna AI or something, and then what was the other one? Slime, the Slime collab.
oh my
So
god, Kizuna I.
there's like one VTuber, 2 animes, and then 1 game that's not even a gacha game. So there's no like overlap. So they have no problem,
Mhm.
like, advertising, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm not too sure like what the possibilities would be, like, again, because I don't know the financials. I just have never really seen it, unless like Honkai with Genshin, or like uh near collabing with themselves as well, right? Unless it's like their own publisher.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. I mean, what animes do you think would even be possible? Like, maybe even like or another game like Persona. Like, do you think like a Persona collab would ever happen? Because they collab with everybody, right?
I believe if Persona does come to CounterSide, right, I think that will be pretty significant too,
Yeah.
because I think the Persona fan base is pretty strong, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if they catch wind that hey, we're gonna appear in this game called CounterSide, and maybe we can give it a shot. I think that will work.
Right. I'm not too sure
I
about
think
like. No, go for it.
I think like Final Fantasy.
That would be
Could fit.
huge.
Yeah, it would be huge.
Ooh, Square
Yeah.
Enix.
Would they be? Square
like-
Enix is so picky, man.
It's true. They are picky, and like I'm trying to like think of other like anime games and stuff that you could collab, but I kind of feel like it's a little hard to design the characters around the game, like
Yeah.
CounterSide.
Oh, now you got me thinking. I'm imagining Cloud Strife in CounterSide. 4-cost striker unit. No.
I just want Tifa, and then I'm good, man. That's all I need.
The three have to be there. Come on, Cloud, Sephiroth, and Tifa. These three has to be there. Come on.
Oh yeah.
And, okay, you know what? Throw in Aerith as another healer, a supporter. Fine.
Just put the whole cast of
Yeah.
Final Fantasy in. What about
Like,
No, go for it.
the main reason I said Final Fantasy is because like I could just immediately implement the characters, right?
Yeah.
Like how Simon said, those characters immediately.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other games, it's kind of I'm like trying to think of how you could implement certain characters, and it's a bit harder.
I think something that would be relatively easy to do, like off the top of my head, I think Tales of would be like, if you guys like know the Tales of series.
The Tales series, yeah.
I think that would be pretty solid. I don't think it'd be too hard to implement, and there's I think they have their own gacha game, but I think they've collabed with other people before. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But that would be pretty significant. It wouldn't be like a huge deal, but it would be pretty cool because it would be more attention for CounterSide and maybe even for Tales of, for people who don't know about it, right? Especially with like Tales of Arise. I don't know if they have another game they're working on. And then I think something as far as anime goes, maybe people are sick of it, but I feel like a Demon Slayer. I feel like Demon Slayer could be like pretty easily just put into the game, but maybe that's just me.
I think Demon Slayer is a pretty good choice.
Yeah. Barrett as a ranger. Yeah, you could do Final Fantasy so easily. I agree. Yeah.
So it's the male version of Kim So-bin.
Yeah, it would be, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too sure. And then you could also have like, I don't know about older stuff, but you could do other Square Enix IPs like I mean, it would be huge. I don't know. That's like kind of like a gacha game, like anime nerd, like wet dream, but would be Chrono Trigger. I think that'd be like ridiculously cool.
Wow, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Naze has a point. Demon Slayer would all be strikers because they all use katana.
Yeah. I was about to read that. Yeah. If Demon Slayer had a collab, they'd all be strikers. That's true, man. Well, I don't know, dude. There's like some you could put some support. Like Chinatsu has a katana, and she's a support, right?
Maybe a few demons can be range units. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they could do Rising of the Shield Hero.
Shield
That's
Hero
4
would be
different-
easily done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And it's relatively new. I feel like I mean the season 2
Yeah,
just
the
finished,
season
right?
Just came out.
Yeah. Did you guys see the ending where Spider-Man came out and kissed Dr. Octopus? That was crazy,
yeah,
man.
dude, that was I didn't expect that.
Yeah, sorry spoilers, guys. Yeah, it was like it was crazy, man. I can't believe Spider-Man was in it. Yeah.
Crazy how big that universe is growing.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, you can really do anything with it in isekai, right?
Really stretching, dude.
Yeah. So I feel like we could probably spend like an hour or more for sure again just talking about collabs, because it is nice to like, fantasize and be like, oh man, my favorite character in this game, and it's hard to really be realistic, and to be honest, even if we come up with like a really good idea, what are the chances of that one specifically being implemented? But I think it's cool. I think in general, something that we kind of talked about, that Simon and I were talking about previously, was about just advertising in general. It doesn't necessarily need to be ads. Obviously, that's like the direct, obvious way to do it, but just more content in general. So like something like we're doing right now, which isn't just people playing PvP. It's not just people playing, dare I say, Danger Close. It's not just people playing, whatever. It's not just the game. It's more to it, and it kind of builds. Well, one, it helps build community, and two, it kind of like adds. I don't want to say maybe validity, but it feels more like weighty. It doesn't feel like, well, if I said the word. If people just kind of like stopped playing like there's a bad week for PvP and nobody gave a shit, like, well then that sucks. But like if there's more stuff to do outside of like just the game, I feel like that's a big deal. And so I don't know if you guys like have any thoughts on that, or any other things that you think could be done as far as like live stream stuff, like maybe like character reveals for like a live stream, like if they live streamed the patch notes. I don't know.
I actually have something. It's going back on Tycon said this earlier that the community self-advertises, right?
Right.
And so to help the community self-advertise, which means your streamers, your YouTubers and stuff. This mainly applies to Twitch, but Twitch drops. It's a thing on Twitch, right? And a lot of other
Yes,
games
Twitch
do it.
drops would be big.
And it sponsors the streamers. It gets them more viewers just because the players will want those rewards.
That's so true.
And because you'll have more viewers, the content, not the content, but the category has more viewers.
Right.
So it's higher up on Twitch. So
I wonder
more
what they would
people will
need.
see the game.
I wonder what they need to do that. I don't know what the details are of getting, because I know Epic 7 had, oh no, they did
Yeah, so
Amazon
that's-
Prime.
Oh yeah, but that too, that works too.
They had the Twitch drops. It was like a leaf. You got like a leaf and like 10 Skystone or something. It was like silly, but yeah, I forgot
But
what the
like
actual
Twitch
rewards.
drops is like a cascading effect in my opinion.
Yeah, no,
right?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Twitch is leaves. I feel like Twitch drops. Sorry, not Twitch drops. Twitch in itself is I don't know what to say, like what the right word to say, but it's huge for like a game I think existing or being like a dead game. Like I don't know if you guys necessarily agree with that, and I think there's a lot of games that people don't play on stream that aren't dead. But like it's not active. It doesn't have an active player base following it. It doesn't have like a bunch of dedicated people being like, "Oh man, I got to see what's happening now." It's just kind of like, yeah, I play that game sometimes, and that's about it. But I think having more people on Twitch would be great. Like everything's on YouTube, right? You can pretty much look up a YouTube video for like any game. But like seeing somebody even until they implement YouTube Live like better, I think for the most part, like having something active to watch like just makes it just expands like the amount of people who care about it, because it's like, oh, there's a game that there's 1,000 people watching this category. I wonder what's about it, rather than 150 or 200 or something, right?
Oh yeah, and also to build on the Twitch drops thing, like if they get sponsored streamers during the Twitch drops, that's a
True.
big thing. Like they have
True.
sponsored streamers now, but it's kind of like, hey, the sponsored streamer on this day at this time, and you get a code.
Right.
People will come get the code. They watch the sponsored streamer, and it's mainly the sponsored streamer's followers that watch, and then the sponsorship is done.
Right.
But if
Yeah,
there's
it's just like a
Twitch
one and
drops,
done. Yeah.
People have to be in the stream for a certain amount of time.
Right.
And so the streamer is incentivized to stream for like maybe multiple days.
At least at least more than one day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think someone in chat said at Tycon, if you're really entertaining and people like your company, yeah, I think that's a big deal. Kind of why Genshin is popular, because a lot of Genshin is personality based. Like let's be honest, there's not a lot of people who are like, oh my god, I cannot wait to watch this Genshin stream because holy shit, there's so much stuff happening. Like it's what's gonna happen today. I'm anxiously waiting. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are just there because it's cozy, and because they have their favorite VTuber, they have their favorite content creator. They just get to hang out. They get to maybe play Genshin or do whatever they're doing, and then have it on a second monitor and just kind of chill, right? But I think you can almost say the same thing about pretty much any game, because like you said, like if people watch CounterSide, even if it's a small group of people, even if only the category is ever like around 1,000 average, I think more people watching it because of Twitch drops. There might be some people who are like, hey, I really like this content creator, and I'm just gonna kind of chill out and watch this, even if this game isn't like the main game I play, or even if I specifically watch this game. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it, but I just want to say really quick, like there's some Lost Ark streamers I still watch. There's some Destiny 2 streamers I still watch. I'm trying to think of some like random ones that like I don't even play the game anymore, but they're just entertaining. And if they're streaming and I want something on my second monitor, they're just enjoyable to watch, right? So I don't know how you guys, like, what are your thoughts on that, right? As far as getting more people in through Twitch drops. And I know you kind of like talked about it, but like being more about like the content more than it is about like the specific game.
I feel like we should continue on our the last question because I don't feel like Simon got to put input on that.
Oh yeah, it did it. Yeah, with which one was that?
Oh no. You guys,
Like what we can do for more content, essentially.
Yeah, go for
And
it. Go for it.
Basically, I kind of echo what both of you have been saying.
Mhm.
I think Twitch drop is also going to be very productive because I for one, certain games I play, if let's say I know that there's a Twitch drop, I would just drop by and like Sirfawn said as well, just put it on my second monitor if I don't play the game, or maybe if I don't watch that, Twitch streamer most of the time.
Right.
And but the thing is this, I feel like the ultimate objective, if we are able to, if B-side is able to achieve this, is that all they ever need to do is not to do something and expect people to play and buy and spend in the game, but more like they should just keep doing things so that there's more people um exposed to the game. So when I say
Yeah.
exposure, I'm basically just saying all they need to do is that at some point in time in these people's lives, they see the word CounterSide or anything related to the game,
Right.
right? Even if it's like I don't know, our parents or grandparents or the older senior citizens or whatever, even if they walk past a certain street every single day, you
Yeah.
just, even if they don't eat McDonald's, right? You just put a gigantic,
McDonald's
bill.
collab.
God, how would that one work?
Let's just say just put the M logo there every single day. Even if they do not want to pay you any attention,
Yeah.
hey, the next table they're having tea in is they're talking about, hey, have you tried McDonald's? They released a new burger recently. Oh, so yeah, so that's McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when their grandchildren come over, it's like, Grandpa, Grandma, I want to have burgers. Let's go McDonald's, because that's the only thing they know.
Yeah.
So I think CounterSide probably just need to do the same thing, and doing it on Twitch using Twitch Drop. I don't care if I attract 50,000, 100,000 other viewers that play
Yeah.
or don't play the game,
Yeah.
but they see it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And it will translate.
I think it's important. I think first impressions are really important. I think like that's why Steam release is going to be super important. But I think in general, just like having associating whatever it is with a positive, reception. Like if you go to watch a hashtag ad on on Raid Shadow Legends, like that's kind of an instance of like something on like the far opposite side where it's like, yeah, they spend a lot of advertising, they have Twitch drops, they have all like the right things, but everyone's just, oh, okay, well, we're gonna play this game later, so we're gonna play some Raid Shadow Legends right now, and no one really talks about Raid Shadow Legends. They just talk about the game that they normally play, and it's just kind of like it's just a backdrop, right? Nobody cares. But I think CounterSide has a lot of consistency and it's got a lot of value, right? It's got a lot of weight as a game, maybe. And I think like if they were to do something even remotely close to how much Raid Shadow, I know Raid Shadow Legends is like way different tier, right? Like they advertise. When you think of like name one gacha game that advertises, it's like Raid Shadow Legends. Like everybody thinks that, right? But if they were to even like do anything more than they're doing now, I think that'd be such a big deal because it is a good game. It's not like some like how I view Raid Shadow Legends. They send you like a sick invitation. Like you get an iPad in the mail and you're like, what the hell? And then you open up the iPad and it's like, you're invited to play Raid Shadow Legends. And you're like, holy shit, like this is, whoa. And then you go to the party and it's a bunch of people sitting in a warehouse with like a cell phone in a cup. You know what I mean? To make the music louder. And you're just like, yikes, dude. Like, this sucks. Like, what? Stick to advertising, I guess. Like, just send me more free iPads. I don't know. But like, you have a game like CounterSide where it's like this crazy bumping party that's like super fun and awesome, and like the game's great, the content's great, but nobody knows about it. It's like it's only word of mouth, basically, right? So like, you don't know. So I think it's kind of like on opposite sides of it. But the thing is once we get people in, not everyone's going to say, I'm not saying it's going to be like the #1 game on Twitch, CounterSide. but it could certainly be a lot bigger than it is right now, right?
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
But yeah, so I think somebody, did we get all our thoughts on that? I do talk a lot, so I didn't want to cut anybody off as far as what we've talked about so far.
I believe we're good so far, yeah?
Cool.
Yeah.
So somebody mentioned in chat earlier about like what we could do, kind of branching off of what we've just been talking about, content wise. And Simon, you and I talked about this for a second, but what do you guys think about private lobbies for PvP? As in, You don't have to do some weird Discord thing. You don't have to worry about QR codes or anything. You just go to PvP, and then it says like private match, and we can have like 20 people in there, and we can like set up a tournament in game without having to worry about anything else.
Ichi, you need to start first, because if I start talking,
yeah. So I think Danger Close would be more similar to.
So my take on this is that we don't need like exactly a private lobby.
Right.
All we need is 2 spectator slots on that match that is going on, right? So you have your 2 opponents and then 2 spectator slots that can watch the match.
Yeah, totally.
That's all you really need.
Right.
And then those 2 spectators can stream it.
Right.
Right. Obviously, the private lobby works if you want like your group of friends to watch that one match instead of like having one of them stream it.
Right.
So like there's the pros and cons where you can have 2 spectators or the lobby itself. But yeah, that's definitely something that I think the game needs, because then we could do like tournaments and stuff very easily.
Yeah, I think that's big for content.
Yeah, like it's huge for content, and I think it'll honestly skyrocket the game, because if you look at E7, you know, the tournaments is like pretty much what's keeping the game alive at this point, I think. Yeah.
I think I want to get your thoughts, Simon, but I think like if we could compare it to something like Epic 7's pretty fairly comparable, because they're almost 1-to-1, as I would assume, as far as maybe like the engine goes, or like difficulty of implementing a system like this, right? Like I know it's a different engine, and I know it's like a different game, but I feel like it's if Epic 7 can do it, then CounterSide could do it. I'm assuming, right? Like I don't know programming and stuff, but something that's actually really cool that I like as well is Super Smash Brothers, right? They have a really cool tournament system where anyone can spectate, and then you just have a bunch of people waiting in the lobby, and then you can rearrange people in the lobby as, oh, well, this person's next, and then after this fight's over, they go up, and then it's like, all right, you're on deck. Here's everybody else who's just spectating. So everyone else is in the stands. You can watch the fight, and then everybody else is just kind of chilling. So it's pretty much the same thing, but I think it'd be a really big deal for like content, man. I want to get your thoughts, Simon. But someone says it would be nice if we could make our ban list for private lobbies. I think so too.
I feel like you wouldn't need a ban list for private lobbies. You could just have a global ban list. If you're gonna have a tournament, you could have a global ban list set up before the tournament.
Sure, true. I think like if you were to have like, let's just say it like this. Sorry, Simon, go ahead, man. I keep talking. Go. I want to hear.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
So my thing. So I used to do these tournaments in Epic 7, right? And we had anybody in chat knows the Wheel of Pain. It's essentially you go to like wheelofnames.com, and it's a giant wheel, and you spin it, and you can add like a bunch of like, you can add whatever you want, right? So we would add like 4-star only. We would add, 5-star only, blah, blah, blah. We'd add whatever we wanted. And which was really cool. Which is a great, Wheel of Pain. So we could do like mechs only, but you could do that because there's like things you could do where it's like you make everybody level 100 or whatever. You don't have to worry about, well, I don't have this person built because they have things to like go around that in CounterSide, right? And there's a ton of units and there's a ton of different things that you could do. You could even get crazier with it, right? But the point that I'm trying to get to is a lot of the times, like we'd have a private lobby, but sometimes we just have it open just because I forgot or just because it was like, I don't know, we'll just see who shows up. The problem is you have no control. So like, you could say like, all right, guys, nobody use this unit, right? Nobody use this thing. But there would be no way to control it. And it's not a big deal. But I did run into a lot of problems with Epic 7 tournaments, whereas like, all right, guys, no Aola, right? And then somebody first pick Aola, and you're like, all right, well, now we got to quit the match and load back in because this person didn't know. And just having like a certain unit, like you just can't use this person in this lobby until I reselect them. Like, so if you were like the leader, you could just select like whatever units you wanted banned. And that way, like, even if a rando joined, they'd just be like, oh, I can't use this unit. Okay. But anyways.
Sounds familiar, chat?
Yeah. A lot of people getting flashbacks, dude.
Because, okay, I really agree that if there's some way for us to set the precedent bans rather than just relying on the 2 players, that would really save us a lot of potential trouble. Because even I personally, when I do draft picks with my viewers, I accidentally pick units that I wasn't supposed to.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time, dude. Yeah.
It happens all the time because
like reflex. It's like a reflex.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I'm gonna counter that, you son of a bitch. Like, you pick this, you're like, take this, and you're like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah, like for example, there was one condition where we said before is like no counterpass units,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then counterpass units were like SSR units. Some of them were SSR units. There's the twins. There's Lily. There's yada yada yada. And then when it was like, oh, I'm gonna counterpick that. I was like, click. I was like, oh shit, that's a
Yep.
counterpass unit.
Yeah. And it's not a big deal. I think it's like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You can probably just reset the match, and it's really no big deal. But it saves a lot of time if, let's say, we're doing it in tournament setting, right?
right.
Yeah, and I think what Ichi suggested as well is like an even more polished suggestion when we just talked about it randomly the other day,
Hmm.
where instead of a lobby, right? Because lobby, I'm just thinking it in a more practical sense. So either we can have almost like hundreds of people, that's the capacity in the lobby, because then people can watch and
Right.
people can just like swap into the rooms where we're running the matches.
Hmm.
It having that big of a capacity might not be that useful, rather than you just, you know what, guys, waiting room is on this Discord server or this particular
Right.
location, just hang out right there, and then we'll call your names, and then you can just enter that room when you're ready, you know.
Yeah. I
And but having the two, sorry, you were saying?
no. I talked constantly. Go for it.
Okay, so then the two additional what do you call that, spectator seats in that match is perfect.
Right.
I've never actually thought of it that way, where actually technically you just have kind of like both can be what do you call it, the
Spectator, I think.
match, yes, commentators and streamers at the same time,
Hmm.
so that they can stream on one or two specific platforms. They can then just talk about it, they can commentate the match. And I've tried commentating a match before. It's amazing, right? It's just really fun to do. It's not as the pacing sometimes can be really overwhelming compared to games like League of Legends and Dota and whatnot, right? Those probably have some engagement where things just get really intense. Whereas in CounterSide, the moment you start, past the second unit drop, it's just
Yeah.
gonna be boom, 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 bam, 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 and then things die, and then one person lose.
Hmm.
And it's amazing. Your Wheel of Pain was really, really, really good, right?
Oh,
It's so good. Like,
Wheel of Pain is fun, man.
yeah, you can put so many different conditions on that. You can put, specific unit bans, or specific, I don't know, faction, or specific rules, no SSR ships, no operators, blah, 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 blah. You can do so many things, and it's random, and evens the playing field for both players as well, because you remove the skill, no, sorry, you remove the progression cap.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could even still
So,
have stuff like that. Like there's no like no end to it. So we could have like, like sweaty tournaments where it's just like, everybody like we're going all in, use your best units, like this and this unit are banned. Like we have a gear limit, so you can only use this many pieces of whatever. But we could also have just like really fun, stupid stuff where nobody really wants to try hard and you just want to say like, oh, I want to use tactical deuce and a half and see, whose truck beats the other truck or so, something stupid, right? Like, and I think that's really entertaining to watch because it's not just, again, like we talked about earlier, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it, but it's not just the game, right? It is, but it's not.
It's really, really fun. I can see the potential in that, actually, because I've hosted one tournament for CounterSide before on the C servers, and it was, I shared some information with you before, but for Ichi's reference as well, I did a single elimination, um,
Yeah.
best out of 3.
Uh-huh.
Was it best of 3? Yeah, best out of 3, single elimination, 50 participant tournament, right? And that took 6 hours.
Yeah, I can imagine
Yeah.
Uh,
that's forever.
5 arenas running consecutive
Oh my
at the same time,
god.
right? And it took 6 hours
Forget it,
because
dude.
you imagine, and we didn't have the draft pick function back then.
Yeah.
We didn't. So we had to like get these two players into the a specific Discord room, telling them, okay, guys, this is the rules. Because every single arena, I have one dedicated referee.
You have like security and shit. You're like, all right, you're up next. We're gonna need you to go backstage. We're gonna get you mic'd up. We got makeup team ready. All right, you're coming up next. You're on deck. Sit over here. Like what the?
That is basically me. So my referees were sitting in, well, it was in every single arena or Discord channel, right?
Yeah.
And then when players enter, I've given them like a guideline, what they need to do. Step 1, tell them this. Step 2, tell them this. It's like a checklist.
You're,
So to make
okay.
sure they all know the rules.
Yeah. Like you're like reading a script. You're like, okay, shit, I'm next. I just imagine it being so much pressure, dude. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
but then after the first tournament, everybody kind of got a feel of how they want to what needs to be done, and the second one we plan to do is it's going to be much easier, right?
Right.
So we get these people in, we have to spend time to tell them the rules and whatnot. We have to make sure that they share their screen, and then they invite each other to a room, and then we have to check whether their teams fulfill the conditions that we've set, and then we play. And assuming the match finish, like we've run the full duration of the match, 3 minutes, right? And it's a best of 3 until the semifinals.
Yeah.
So then you have to allocate approximately 15 minutes plus minus for a single match.
Yep.
And I have 5 arenas running, mean 5 matches, took 6 hours, 1 hour, 4 matches. And you can just imagine, you can do the math, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I was telling sirfawn as well, imagine if, let's say now we have the draft pick system and we have all these really cool ideas, it's going to be so much quicker, and we can consider doing double elimination.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like you could get really creative without the less third party, the less things that you have to do outside of the game, in my opinion, for the most part, is better. Like the more things that are in a game without having to, like, that you would normally go do, the things that you would normally, like, oh, I want to do a tournament. Well, you kind of can, but you kind of can't. And, well, it's possible, but, it's a pain in the ass. It's like, I don't know. Nobody really gives a shit. Like, it's too much work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if it was, besides the people who really care, but if it was easily implemented, like Ichi said, like just having a not necessarily a lobby, but just a way to broadcast or just to spectate, right? Anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. Like you could just be like, hey, I have 5 of my friends who play CounterSide. Hey, you guys want to do a small tournament? All right, cool, whatever. We'll just fight, and then you just set it up and go. You don't have to. You don't have to be a streamer. You don't have to be on YouTube. You don't have to even Discord stream. You could just play the game, and you could. I mean, you could. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If only, man. But they have so much work to do in order to really make it happen.
Yeah.
Because then it's not just in the roadmap of the game, but in their development timeline for the game itself, for B-Side as a company, they will have to include things like, okay, are we going to steer the game in the direction of competitive gaming?
Right.
That sort of thing.
Well,
I hope they do.
Yeah, like I feel like they should, because like the PvP is honestly competitive. There's nothing that's not competitive about it.
Right.
Like the way ranked PvP is, the meta like shifting around like every week, just about bans and ups. Like,
well,
the only bad thing is that like a new unit comes out and they completely break PvP.
Yeah,
right?
But
then it gets fixed.
Normal. Yeah, it gets fixed. They get 1 week ban immunity, and then they can be banned the next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The devs don't sit here and go, well, broken unit, I guess let it sit there until we put out the next broken unit, right?
Yeah.
They actually adjust units. Like,
yeah, and there's no ML5 selectors, dude. Yeah.
To be very honest, a part of me deep down inside, I'm hoping that B-Side will review Awaken Yumina again.
Oh man.
And
the personal
freaking remove, just don't let her freaking refresh a bloody perfect evasion.
It's personal this time.
Yes, it's personal.
Damn. Jesus Christ.
I mean, we've talked about it, right? Sometimes when it feels so weird, it's like they're drunk when they did some character designs. Like for
Nayubin, dude.
Passive skill haste increased by 30% just by being on the field. You burn every single tower's HP at a consistent rate until
and
they
the
die.
attack, yeah.
Yes, and then the ultimate attack reduction debuff is permanent until you change the match.
Yeah.
Right? Just these 3 alone is just, dude. It's like, okay, assuming these guys are from Korea, right? Because originally it's from Korea, right? They have this culture where every day after work they have the seniority and the social ranking is very, very clear. They practice it with an iron fist in Korea, right? So imagine the boss, the supervisor is like, guys, let's go drinking tonight, and then they were like having drinks at the table with fried chicken. And it's like, okay, there is this new unit we're gonna release. Give me some ideas. A, go. Skill haste increase. Okay, done.
Yeah.
B, go. Burn towers. Nobody cares about them. Okay, go. And it's like, approved. Let's do it. And it's like, oh, don't do it.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like I don't know what the balancing team is like, but yeah, sometimes it does feel like some of the units they just like you know, an elf where he like presses all the buttons like on the elevator. And he's like, oh, it's like a Christmas tree. That's like it's kind of what it feels like. They just like, and you're like, all right, they just everything's on. Let's see what happens. It's just like I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, it's not nearly as bad in my opinion. I know it's kind of like hard to compare like 1-to-1, but Epic 7 is like, I think the balancing in general, like let's just say someone like Na Yubin, right? Clearly someone who's like extremely strong. Like he in a lot of ways counters his counters. Like he's just, you know, he's just an insane unit. But
Yes, he is.
then he just gets banned. Do you know what I mean? Like by win rate percentage and by people voting, like, fuck now you've been. So then you don't have to use him, and you just ban him, and then you're just. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people use him at he's like a 9 cost or something. Like I don't know what it. People still use him, but yeah, it's. I think the balancing from week to week is, and not only just like the balancing team in general, like Ichi said, where they do balance and readjust units accordingly as time goes on. I think it's a huge deal to keep the meta fresh. So you're not just like, oh, well, this season is the season of you know, Hua Young. This is the sweet season of Rimuru. This is the season of, you know, this thing, because you know the next balance patch isn't forever, and that's just what we got to deal with. It's like, well, just wait 7 days, and then it's an entirely different game, basically.
Sometimes it's not even 7 days because a new unit comes out in the
True,
middle of the
true.
week.
Like a Yuna, it was Estarossa week, right?
Yeah.
It was Estarossa week, and then Yuna came out, Harub came out, and Serapel came out, and it completely changed everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So, as far as like the PvP private lobbies, like talking about like information in game, I just want to kind of touch on it briefly. And we'll go ahead and green light you, man. We can talk about Danger Close. So what is everyone's thoughts about having more information on bosses and mechanics in the game? Just in general, like not just Danger Close, but just like certain bosses, like some of the bosses it says, yeah, some of the bosses it says different mechanic after some HP or something, and it's just like, what the, I don't know what that means, unless we all yeah, go for it.
I'm in the boat of let me figure it out over time.
Yeah.
And I know there are other people that are in the boat of tell me everything about the boss right now so I could like theory craft immediately instead of spending an hour throwing different teams at the boss to see what happens, you know?
Yeah. Someone in chat.
There's 2 sides of the coin, right?
Yeah.
And I'm on one side and some people are on the other side.
Yeah, someone in chat says it says special fight pattern after losing some HP. Like here's my problem. I'm very similar to you, Ichi, and I'm actually I'm more on the side of let me figure it out. But I know most players, like the average, I'm always trying to look out for like the average player personally. Like that's just I'm a super sweaty tryhard, especially in PvE. But because of that, I know that there's a lot of people who aren't like that. This is how it goes, right? Because not everyone's me. That's just the way it goes. And there's a lot of other people who do care and are very passionate about like being in the end game and like trying their very best. But I say like the average player is just like, I just want to kind of go into the game, you know, see what this boss does and try and figure it out just by reading it. I don't want to have to go read it, watch it with 1,000 different tutorials and go on Pride-In and go on this thing. And a lot of the times, even people who have it in game, like Epic 7, there's a lot of bosses in Epic 7 that people still go get account reviews. They still go on YouTube. They still go on Twitch to figure it out, because even if it's in game, it's different to have me explain it to you or like Simon talk about Danger Close, right? But I want to get both your guys' thoughts. But in my opinion, like, because like I said, I agree. I'm on the same side of that coin. But if it's gonna say special fight pattern after some HP, that's more confusing to me than just having to figure it out. Because now I'm like, what the fuck is this? Okay, when does it happen? When is the some HP? And then I'm like, okay, what is the special fight pattern? So now I'm already trying to analyze and like think about it, rather than just like, oh, that's what happened. Okay, he does this attack after 30% HP or something. But it's more confusing to me just to say, some stuff happens. You know what I mean? But I know, Simon, this is like super up your alley, so I want to get your thoughts, man. You can do it, dude. Go for it.
Okay. So I feel like we talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of found we actually also found a sweet spot for this, which is I am totally a fan of finding it out yourself, right? But then it's kind of the magic is kind of lost if, let's say, that remains for too long,
Yeah.
right? When the information remain obscured for too long, it's like it either never existed or people will hit a wall, right? There's certain things they just cannot seem to figure out because we just don't have we don't have sufficient information. Like,
Right.
for example, if it wasn't by chance and it wasn't by a few of my viewers telling me that, mod A resets every single debuff upon every single hit check,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have noticed,
Yeah.
right? And then I'll just be molding myself like, dude, why am I not doing damage?
Yeah.
Right? And then but then slowly if you figure it out, and once the boss revisits you maybe in the next few seasons, and if it comes back more than once, you mentioned something like, you know what, after a certain period of time you can probably just release information about the boss,
Right.
right? Something a little bit more detailed, and the idea that you suggested, which is the community one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine, so Fawn, guys, Fawn actually suggested this, right? He actually had an idea where, if, let's say, the community kills or does manage to hit certain achievements for, let's say, mod A, right? We were going to use that boss for discussion purposes, right?
Mhm.
And every single time we hit a certain milestone, a certain information is released. Like, it's made
Yeah.
available, I don't know, maybe in the collection area of the game, or when you click on the question mark next to the boss's name, that sort of thing. And then gradually it will become easier for the veterans to uh push further. And at the same time, if there are new players coming into the game and doing Danger Close for their very first time, they can just click on that and see, oh, so the boss does this, oh, so the boss do that, and that sort of experience. And yeah, I think it's the right way to do this. If B-side is even listening to the stream, hopefully they are, is to do that. Like, it's so fun, isn't it? It's like,
I think so
imagine,
too. Yeah. It's a
yeah,
good balance. I think it's a good balance.
exactly. And then we can, like, tell people, you know what? Oh, in order to unlock the next piece of information, we need to have, I don't know, maybe Xiaolin be in your team for I don't know, 500 fights.
Or
Right?
have 500 people beat the boss or something. Like,
yeah, or something like that, right? And then you will then unlock, because they can somehow hold your hand in a certain way to try to help you get better score. Like, for example, let's say mod A is weak against rangers in general because it's a defender class, right?
right.
So let's say the most optimum DPS for that boss is Kim So-bin,
Hmm.
let's say. So then they can probably release things like, okay, if Kim So-bin is being used for 1,000 times in community-wise, right, the entire game, if she's used for 1,000 times in this boss fight, we'll release this information. So then people will be steered towards, oh, actually, the game is trying to tell me that Kim So-bin it should be the DPS that I should use for this particular boss, rather than you just try to figure out yourself. Oh,
Right.
this sort of thing.
Actually,
That would be interesting.
kind of going off that for a second, and Ichi, I want to get your thoughts too, man. But something that Epic 7 actually implements pretty well is if you go to do Abyss, which I don't even know what I'd compare it to in CounterSide. But if you were to go do Abyss, which is like maybe dives, I guess, but at any rate, like you're progressing through, and each floor gets harder and harder and harder, whatever. You can see the usage rates, and you can see, like, and maybe there is, I don't know about, but you can see, like, you can look manually through every team for danger close, right? And you can say, okay, well, they use this team, okay, they use this team, but it'd be really cool if they just showed, okay, 90% of people playing mod A used Roy Burnett. He's the most, whatever, I don't know what it is, but let's just say 90% or even 95% of people who beat mod A use Roy, and you're like, okay, shit, maybe he should be on my team. And then you click Roy, or the teams that use Roy, and then it shows you the usage statistics of, like, the #1 most used team against mod A. And then the number always keeping, like, Roy on the team, right? And then you could cycle through on the left side by units as well. It was like, oh, Kim So-bin was used a lot too. Yeah, Roy's our boy. And you could use, like, Kim So-bin, like you said, for example, a great DPS for mod A, right? And you could, well, 75% or 80% of people who beat mod A used her. And so you're like, whoa, that's kind of like branching a little bit off of what we talked about. But I think that'd be cool too. And Ichi, I want to get your thoughts as well, man.
So I feel like that's not really necessary since we already have the ranking system and we're able to see the teams that are used in the ranking
True.
system. Like you can see the top 200 or is it 100? No, it's 100
I think it's 100. Yeah.
people. Yeah, and it's per boss it's top 50, but it's overall you see the 100 for the total rankings.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that's necessary because you're able to see teams already.
Sure, it'd just be a small.
But
yeah, go for it.
to like add on to the like getting more information on the boss part, I think the description for the boss should just get longer as we get more information on it. Right?
Yes,
So that it's not
100%.
in some other spot. It's right there on the DC page for the boss. You're like, okay, cool. So this boss has these things I need to do for this,
Yeah.
and that can be unlocked through the score.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So after like say 100,000 total points scored by the whole server, this piece of information gets unlocked.
Yeah. I think
So I
that's.
feel like that'd be a better way than like say, hey,
Yeah,
let's use
that
this
works too.
unit this many times because let's say that week that unit's not good to use there.
Right,
So
right.
then you're just like screwed.
Yeah, I think community challenges in general, even outside of what we're talking about, but just in general, I think would anything that brings the community together, like a podcast like this or a talk show or anything that we can like pool together and like kind of have like a, I mean, look at raids in any game like World of Warcraft, Lost Ark, Destiny, like those obviously are a specific game mode, but you can kind of equate it to being a community challenge of some sort, right? Like everybody pulls together to figure out how to do something. And
yeah, so
yeah, go for it.
It'd be kind of like a guild boss where after you get rewards for a certain amount of points, and that could be another reward system for DC to incentivize more people to play it, so that the whole server, all of global, gets these rewards.
Oh,
right?
true. Yeah. So like if you were a oh man, yeah, we could really get deep into this, but like you could be like you were a founder of you were like one of the first to slay the moderator A or something, like, or right, like you were one of the ones that unlocked it. You were a pioneer or something, right? Yeah, that's really cool. I like that too. Simon, you're being pretty quiet. We are talking about Danger Close. I just wanted to let you know we're all good, man.
No, I'm just taking it in.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
I know, man. I'm just
that's great. Like, yeah, I mean, if that can happen, then it would make the experience so much more conducive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have to mold that long in a single account.
Exactly. Like it gets more people in DC because there's more rewards for one, and then two, it gets more people doing DC or not doing, but like more successful in DC because you're unlocking more information for it. So
yeah,
you
there's more
like, learn
incentives. Yeah.
Yeah,
how to do it better.
there should be more. Yeah, there should be more. Because I know for the people who are really trying hard in the C servers for Danger Close, they find after a few seasons, they find it to be more of a chore trying to keep up in the ranks. And the whole purpose of them
Yeah.
actually even trying to go up high in the ranks is because they get more points, right?
Right.
And the whole reason why they want to get more points is just because they want to clear the shop rewards as soon as possible.
Right.
And it's the Danger Close shop actually do give you a hummingbird set and a maze set, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get the
and
hummingbird
those
weapon,
gears are
maze
amazing.
set.
Yeah, and the pace that you get them, unless like you're like omega sweaty all the time, which you could say is its own incentive, and I do think people who do better should get more rewards as well. But I think that there should be some more stuff as well, like we said with the community challenges, maybe, so that people who I don't know, let's just be honest, like I think like somebody who they love CounterSide, it's like their favorite game, but they have like 2 kids and they have a full-time job and they only get to play maybe an hour a day or something. I don't know. And they want to participate in this community challenge, but they can't get in the top 100 or whatever, right? But because they participated in the community challenge, they get bonus rewards because they were like helping out, right? And I think stuff like that's important because it's not a participation reward, and it's not about like raising the bottom line and being like, well, everybody should get something. But I don't think there should be exclusive awards for people who do the best, right? I think everyone can pretty much agree with that.
I mean, there's already exclusive rewards for that.
Exactly.
But we're like, my suggestion is adding more rewards for everyone.
Exactly.
In general.
Yep, exactly. And I think like
Mhm.
incentivizing and making players, I think it would help out in general because you feel good for being in the top 100 or top 50 or top 10 or whatever. But you also feel good as a player because you're like, no, I contributed because I was part of this thing and I also got more rewards for taking part of it rather than just like, dropping in and or not doing it at all because you couldn't be bothered. So yeah, I think more rewards are better. I think in general, I think I think overall there'd be like a pause. It would be well received, right? I don't think anybody would be like, no, that's stupid. Like, I don't want more stuff. Yeah, more hummingbird and DC shop.
Oh no, we lost Simon.
Oh
yeah, my
no,
battery died. Oh no. Oh no.
that's
What?
okay.
Can I just send you a profile picture for now and then just put me there?
That's okay. I could actually just take you off if you want. I think everyone knows that you're here.
Yeah, sure. That's
Yeah.
fine.
If that's cool with everybody else, because of the whole PNG thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't even know how we could
draw
have.
an image. Pull up Paint, draw an image of.
Yeah, yeah. Here, let's do. Actually, I'll just do. Where is it?
I can send you a quick one. An image you can use for me.
Sure. Yeah, just send it on Discord or something, right? I'll just put up a
Okay.
PNG, or not a
Yeah.
PNG, but just an image. It won't be highlighted, but you'll be here.
Yeah, it's not a reactive
Yeah.
PNG, but
Here I'm dropping it down now.
All right. Yeah, I just have a couple of things that I want. All right. Hell yeah. I have a couple of things I want to talk about, and we can pretty much start wrapping it up. For today, it's actually kind of well timed. Let's see here.
How long have we been streaming?
I've been streaming for.
hours?
Oh God, I don't even know.
Oh, the podcast has been almost 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, I think we're at 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but I think the podcast is like 2.
Nice.
Where is? Can I just drag this on? Hold on. Oh man, I can't find it right now. 1 second, guys.
Honestly, 2 hours is like a good stopping point.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, maybe we can.
After 2 hours is like drawing it out. But yeah, you have like a couple things and that's it. So this is actually perfect.
Yeah, I can't find the image. That's okay. If anything, we'll have it saved up for next time. But everybody knows you're here, right? Simon is still here, guys. Simon didn't explode.
I'm still here.
So I mean, in all reality, like I think unless you guys had any other thoughts, I think it really is just about the podcast specifically. As far as if there's anything else we want to talk about, yeah, rip Simon, guys. Anybody wanted if you guys had any more thoughts or anything you wanted to like wrap up as far as like what we talked about already.
No, I'm good.
Chilling.
Yeah, chilling. We can do the other things.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, basically, and this is really just something super short, but just as far as like expectations of the podcast, like I think it was pretty good, man. I think like overall, I feel like the flow is pretty well, and I feel like I mean, I don't really know because I wasn't like paying attention to like a whole bunch of stuff like in chat as I did as much as I could. But I think overall, I think it was pretty okay, and I think we could probably keep doing this, going forward, maybe like once a month, and I'm sure some of the details we can work out like in chat or whatever. But
Yeah.
what are your guys' thoughts about it?
I think for now we can probably do this like once every month.
Once a year.
And then once a year is a little bit too little.
Every decade.
Because I mean we can probably just check out our own the community,
Mhm.
the people who join us today and whatnot. And if let's say we do put it on our YouTube channels, we'll see what they think about it too.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
we can slowly fine tune.
Everyone in chat, what do you guys so far in chat? I think overall it seems like a pretty positive reception, but what is everyone thinking? Again, we could probably upload it on your YouTube or whatever, and I don't know if you're recording, but I could like send the VOD and stuff and check that out. But I think, yeah, unless everybody's just lurking. Was good stuffs, good banters and information. Yeah, missed it completely.
Oh no. I know, like a few people weren't able to make it or not able to watch it, sadly,
Yeah.
because of area.
Yeah, need to talk more about DC. Will it be so that's the thing. Na was asking, will it be live on my stream or will it be rotating channels? So I don't really want to speak for everyone, but I think something that we talked about was potentially, because we wanted to funnel everyone into one spot, that it was the most ideal to have it in one spot, because we didn't know like what was gonna the outcome was gonna be. But potentially, as it goes on, like we could have everyone stream on their own individual like platform, but then still funnel it into like, I mean, I guess it would be funneled, but like essentially you could just watch like your main content creator, but you just be part of the podcast but on their specific stream. But it's kind of like unnecessary right now. But what do you guys think about that? I know it's something we
I think
talked
we
about.
should still keep it on
Yeah.
like one channel for now.
Yeah, I think
Like
so
for the
too.
next like few. And I was thinking
Yeah.
like it's either like every month or every 2 weeks, depending on like if we put the like talk about things on the podcast more in depth than what we were doing this time around, because I feel like we did a lot of topics, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like super in depth.
Right.
Mhm.
The advertising was a little more in depth than the other topics. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like. But
I
in
think
the future we could definitely go more in depth in DC, PvP, some other things, and like we could have a certain section of the podcast be more like of a review of the past month or the past 2 weeks or something, whichever
Yeah.
one we do.
yeah, for sure.
So
I think no, go ahead.
oh yeah. So what the C servers did was every 2 weeks they have one. Sorry, there's always one rest week for Danger Close. So let's say this week it's mod A, and then when the season closes, there's 1 week of no Danger Close, and after that they introduce new bosses, right? So if we do it twice a week, we can also make that a single topic of what we can talk about on the podcast, and we can also review the PvP meta, right? I mean, these two things are like the main bread and butter of the game anyway. But of course, I think we don't want it to only be these two things. So
Right.
but if we do it in how do you call it? If we do it with a 2 weeks gap, we can probably have other topics to talk about that
Mhm.
we should focus more on. Like for example,
Did you just call me a moron?
so for example, I don't know, uh
No, I
B-side,
yeah.
decided to announce something, we can always talk about that, and then we talk about the other stuff, because I find in the end of the day, I feel like if, let's say, people who play CounterSide actually hops on, it's pretty interesting to see how the three of us come from different perspective,
Right.
looking at the PvP meta or maybe the DC boss that particular season or something like that.
Yeah, I think overall what I wanted to say was just like, I think because this was more of like an introduction like to like what this is, kind of just getting it feels out there, and like maybe what we would talk about, and just kind of like an intro to CounterSide, and just maybe some of the content creators. But it could become, and kind of what I wanted it to more cycle around, was maybe like a state of the game like podcast essentially. So it's like, well, a month has passed since this unit's been out. How has it been? Or, the bans, blah blah blah. Like, well, this week sucked, and no, that week was good, and this is why, and blah blah blah. And then we could also talk about, oh, Danger Close this week was, typically it's an easier boss, but these units were up, and it was hard to use these specific units, so it's actually better to, yada yada yada.
Yeah. Oh, right. We can even invite another guest, and I think that's what we should do,
Yes.
isn't it?
So I think, yeah, no, go for it.
No, I was basically done.
I think because it's just the three of us right now that we're like, well, originally is just me and Ichi that I had like brought up the idea to, and then you were like the first person to jump on in the content creator chat, right? And then I think some people expressed some interest, but it wasn't anything that was like, I'm gonna be there for sure. So it'd be cool to get more content creators, but also maybe just influencers in general. Like, there's some people who aren't an official content creator, that I think it would still be entertaining to bring their community over, and like try and get as many people to like collaborate with, essentially, right?
Yeah. We can even bring the people I had in mind. Well, like maybe one of the people who top the ranks of anything, right? It could be raid.
That would be really
damage, it
interesting
could
too. Yeah.
be Yeah, it could be achievement points. It could be DC, PvP. I think these guys are all potential guests.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I think a lot of people would like that.
Nice.
Like the number
We
6.
got a direction.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I think that's pretty much. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the most part. Did you guys have any like other thoughts? Otherwise, we'll just kind of like chill out for like the last few minutes before we move on with our lives. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I think we're good,
Chilling.
right? I don't have anything.
Cool. So yeah, you could probably have already cut the VOD or whatever at some point if you wanted to. But
I didn't manage to record it.
I didn't. That's okay. We can figure out like a Google share, whatever the hell it's called, like the
drive. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. I could probably upload it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as like the podcast stuff goes. There's Pickle Pete. I should have turned off the. That's so funny. I should have turned off the trigger fire. We could put Pickle Pete in like the bottom or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me if you guys want to chill, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, I'm gonna start wrapping stuff up.
Nice.
And then we can I will message you guys in Discord and we can talk about more about the podcast in general, like off the record.
Sure.
And then to talk about as far as like planning what we're gonna do next and like potential guests and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, guys. Well, I'm actually gonna just mute chat then. Is that okay? No hard feelings.
Wow, I can't believe we're getting muted.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
All the time.
After all this time. All right, guys. Well, I will message you later.